Lake Country, what's better? I know you all are itching to get back to it. It's okay to admit it. One of the best parts about taking in a... Who let the dogs out? They're going...
Hey, DockHounds fans. What's up, DockHounds fans?
You're listening to the DockHounds Broadcast Network live from Rosemont, Illinois, Impact Field, home of the Chicago Dogs, for Game 3 between the Lake Country DockHounds and the Dogs. This is the first ever audio broadcast for the Lake Country DockHounds. Happy to bring it to you. I'm Dominic Stern, joined by Sam Reeves. And Sam, super exciting for us tonight, but the DockHounds are trying to look to avoid the sweep against the Dogs.
Yeah, this is a big game in the season, a big game for momentum, considering this division is as tight as it is. Every game matters, and you do not want to get swept. That's at any point in the season, but especially as we start to get kind of closer to the home stretch, this game could prove to be pivotal.
And we had a lineup change. And Demetrius Sims, who has played shortstop in just about every game the last 2 months for the Lake Country DockHounds, was in the starting lineup, but he was scratched, and it'll actually be Marcus Chu, typically the DockHounds first baseman. He'll be handling the duties at shortstop today. I mean, that's a pretty shocking development for the DockHounds.
Oh, shocking is a great way to put it. You know, if you're a casual DockHounds fan and you look at the lineup and you see Marcus Chu playing shortstop, what in the world? Why? Holy cow. But don't be too surprised necessarily, because Marcus Chu is one of the more athletic players on this team. He can do just about anything. He doesn't have experience at short, so that makes it kind of intriguing, but Marcus Chu can do just about anything well. He's done everything he's been tasked with at a very high level this season so far. So honestly, there's no reason to believe he cannot play short. It will be interesting to see how it goes out there defensively for him tonight.
It'll be the first time that Chu is playing first since he was in high school. So that'll certainly be something we'll have to watch, or we'll watch and you'll listen to. Once again, thank you all for tuning in to the inaugural game on the DockHounds Broadcast Network. The rest of the DockHounds are lined up like this for manager Ken Huckabee. The DockHounds are 30-32, looking to inch their way back to 500 after they got back to it 30-30, excuse me, but have dropped the first two in the series to the Dogs. It'll be the same top two at the lineup, Blake Taberry, followed by Thomas Jones. But then in the third spot, which has been where Demetrius Sims has been batting for the majority of the season, it's Marcus Chu, the highest he bats in the DockHounds order. So not only is he playing a new position, hitting in a higher spot as well. Steven Sensley will bat in the cleanup spot. He's in right field. Curtis Terry is at first base, the second time we've seen him at first this season. Dustin Woodcock is playing left field tonight. He's back in the lineup. Brian Ray will be the designated hitter. Kevin Maiton's at third base, batting eighth, the lowest we've seen him in this Lake Country lineup, with Tyler Hill catching on the back-to-back nights. I mean, there's just a lot to dive into with this lineup. What's one thing that stands out to you, Sam?
Yeah, there's so much to unpack. You could go in so many different ways, but I'm going to go Tyler Hill. I mean, we were talking about it last night, how good he's been. He had another great night last night, picking up a couple of hits and an RBI. So Tyler Hill getting back-to-back days. I wanted to see him more. Ken Huckabee says, okay, Sam, you've got it. We're going to put him in the lineup again. So excited to see Hill back there again.
And Connor Fisk will get the start for the Lake Country DockHounds. He started in the finale against the Dogs. Didn't go too deep in the ball game, but was very good. Just that one base runner. It was a home run, but it was a good start for him and something he could build on in his first outing since the All-Star break.
Yeah, build on it is exactly the right way to put it, Dom. Connor Fisk has faced a lot of these teams in the association. Some starts haven't gone as well as he would like, but lately he's been a lot better, and that's the key. You don't necessarily need to go deep, especially here tonight, because the entire DockHounds bullpen, for the most part, is fresh outside of Augie Voigt. So you have plenty of options to go to in terms of relievers. Just get as much as you can out of Fisk. Be effective if you're Connor. Don't worry about length.
On the other side for the Chicago Dogs, here's their lineup. Jesus Lujano moves up into the leadoff spot. He's in right field tonight. Peyton Eels didn't play in Game 1, made his presence felt yesterday. He's once again batting second at second base. Ryan Lidge hits third. He's been the Dogs' best hitter in this series. He's the catcher once again. 3 straight starts behind the plate for him in this series. Josh Altman will hit in the cleanup spot as the Dogs' shortstop. Matt Botcher is the designated hitter for Chicago. He will bat fifth. Dylan Rosa hits sixth. He's in center field. Luke Mangieri back in the lineup after he missed the last 2 games in this series. He's at first base hitting seventh. Cody Bohannick will bat eighth at the hot corner third base. And Brennan Metzger bats last. He's the Dogs' left fielder.
I'm looking at Jesus Lujano tonight, Dom. Reached base 3 times yesterday, 2 singles and an intentional walk, and his reward, getting moved all the way up to the leadoff spot from the 7-hole last night. So Lujano, promotion in the lineup, will look to capitalize.
We've seen him bat in so many spots throughout this Dogs lineup. And their starter today, making his second start with the Dogs and his first start here at Impact Field, will be Cole Aker. He's bounced around the Atlantic League over the last 2 seasons, formerly with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, Aker, a mix of 4 pitches, pretty typical. Fastball, slider, changeup, curve, will use all of them and mix it up well. Not overly powerful, but likes to mix in all those pitches to kind of deceive hitters. We'll see what he does here tonight. As you said, his first start at home.
In his last start, Aker pitched 4 innings. He allowed 2 earned runs. It was 3 hits and 3 walks with 2 strikeouts. And Sam, something that we can look at when you look at Aker is there's a lot of walks in there. 31 innings pitched earlier on this season, and he's got 20 walks. So he's going to issue a lot of free passes, as well as last year, 27 2/3 innings pitched. He walked 28 batters. At sometimes the command can get a little bit away from Aker. Could we see a patient approach tonight from Lake Country?
I think that's going to be key. The short answer to your question there is yes, Dom. I think, we've seen that throughout the association. There's various arms where you have the stuff. The control has been an issue for a few guys. Lake Country's fallen victim of that, too, to an extent at times. So the key offensively against that is to be exactly what you said, Dom. Patient at the plate. Make Aker come to you and take advantage when he does. Don't get overly aggressive and think to yourself, hey, I have to swing early in counts. If he'll be in the strike zone and give you something to hit, then sure, attack. But make sure Aker comes in the zone before you let it rip.
The Lake Country DockHounds are yet to be swept on the season. They'll look to continue that trend tonight. 6:30 first pitch coming up in just a moment. The Dogs are about to take the field here in Rosemont. We'll step aside for the national anthem when we come back. Well, the first pitch here on the DockHounds Broadcast Network. One baseball game? How about 2 baseball games? On the 31st of July, the Lake Country DockHounds are hosting a doubleheader against the Milwaukee Milkmen. First game at 4:05 p.m. Central Time, with game number 2 following about 30 minutes after the completion of game number 1. Those 2 contests will be 7 innings, so it'll be action-packed, and you get 2 games for the price of 1. So what place better to be to wrap up your July than Wisconsin Brewing Company Park? Check out DockHounds.com/tickets for more information. I know you all are itching to get back to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park to watch your DockHounds take the field again, but let's have some patience, Lake Country. The DockHounds have one more series before they return home for an 8-game, 7-day homestand, 5 games against the Milwaukee Milkmen, and then the final 3 next weekend against the Lincoln Salt Dogs. You have to get out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park because there's so much baseball and there's not that much more time left in the American Association season. So we'd love to see you out at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park starting on Monday all the way through Sunday. We've got 8 games in 7 days. What better place to spend your night or even your Sunday afternoon than at the ballpark? Cole Aker makes his second start with the Chicago Dogs, a 6'2" right-hander out of Memphis, Tennessee, an 18th round draft pick by the St. Louis Cardinals in the 2018 MLB draft, making his second start with the Dogs, and he allowed 2 earned runs across 4 innings pitched against the Gary South Shore Railcats in start number 1. Here's hoping the DockHounds can put up even more runs here in his second start.
Yeah, the DockHounds are definitely searching for an answer to the Dogs in this series. A team that DockHounds have matched up fairly well against so far this year. You definitely want to come in and avoid the sweep, especially for a trip to Sioux Falls, a team that you're very familiar with, and the fact that you just saw Sioux Falls a few days ago. So before that trip, you got to get a win here today to grab some momentum.
The season series is tied between the Lake Country DockHounds and the Chicago Dogs after the DockHounds won the first 2 series of the season series. The Dogs have won this series and are looking for the sweep today, while the DockHounds are obviously looking to avoid the sweep and take back control of the season series. Dogs wearing their all-white uniforms today, blue tops, or blue hats, white tops, white pants, while the DockHounds have got their blue caps on, their dark blue caps, dark blue tops, and gray pants. Defensively for the Dogs, it's Brennan Metzger in left field, Dylan Rosa in center, Jesus Lujano is the right fielder, Cody Bohannick at third, Josh Altman's the shortstop, Peyton Eels is that second, Luke Mangieri the first baseman, with Ryan Lidge calling the pitches for Cole Aker. Blake Taberry, Thomas Jones, and Marcus Chu will bat here in the first inning for the DockHounds. Shadows on the right side of the field here at Impact Field in Rosemont, Illinois. Sun will be in play on the left side of the field. Aker is set. Nobody on, and his first pitch to Blake Taberry is a called strike right down the middle. We are underway from Rosemont, a 6:36 first pitch. It's 0-1. Taberry has walked to lead off both of the 2 games in this series. Now takes the 0-1 low. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Of course, we know how patient Blake Taberry can be. He's the leader on this DockHounds team in hits, but is also second in walks. Swings over the 1-1 pitch. Now 1-2.
To have that combination where you can lead a ball club in both hits and walks this deep into a season says a ton about the kind of hitter Blake Taberry is. You don't see that combination too often where you can go ahead and take the free pass. If it's there, of course, drive one into the gap, but Blake is definitely unselfish.
Now uses his timeout. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the leadoff batter, Blake Taberry. Cole Aker still pitching out of the stretch with nobody on. Slate pull shift for the Dogs in the infield. 1-2 misses high and away. Counts now even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. DockHounds with a 27-22 record under their manager, Ken Huckabee. How to make some lineup changes. We've already talked about it in our pregame show. Marcus Chu making his first start at shortstop since high school with the absence of Demetrius Sims. 2-2 misses low. The count's now full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Could Blake Taberry walk to lead off the ballgame for a 3rd straight day? Thomas Jones will bat next for the DockHounds. Taberry on a 10-game on-base streak and a hit in 9 of the last 10. Payoff pitch from Aker. Ground ball to the right side. Peyton Eels is there. Throw to first is a little bit wide, but Luke Mangieri reaches up the line to make the catch. That's out number 1.
It's a good start for Cole Aker as Blake DeBerry puts together a professional plate appearance every time he steps up there. Aker did a good job, though, of challenging him with a 3-2 count.
That brings up Thomas Jones. 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts in yesterday's ball game. That was after a very strong performance in the series opener on Tuesday, in which he doubled twice and brought home one of the 2 runs for Lake Country. Takes the first pitch high from Aker. It's 1-0. Jones has still been an imposing figure on this DockHounds team. Still the leader in on-base percentage with a .412 clip. 1-0. Off-speed pitch. Jones is a little late. It broke back into the zone. Now 1 ball and 1 strike.
It's a tough pitch from Aker to pick up if you're Jones. It's going to break back in there late. Not too much you can do, and Jones swung over the top.
DockHounds center fielder has been on base in 50 of the 56 games this season. Takes a fastball in the outside corner. He's now down in the count 1-2. You're listening to the DockHounds Broadcast Network. 1 away in the top of the first. Blake DeBerry grounded out to second to begin the ball game. 1-2 from Aker. Swing and a miss. Fastball just by Jones at the top of the zone. 2 up and 2 down for Aker. That'll bring up Marcus Chu.
It's another high fastball with 2 strikes for the DockHounds chase. And that's something throughout the entire league we've seen a lot of all season, Dom. When a pitcher is ahead with 2 strikes, they a lot of the times will go to that high fastball, and it's tough to lay off.
Aker struck out 11 in his 15 2/3 innings at Lancaster in the Atlantic League earlier this season. Now Marcus Chu, DockHounds shortstop at the plate, swings at a first pitch slider. It's 0-1. Chu homered in yesterday's ball game. He's got a hit in each of the 2 games here at Impact Field. Ball is crushed over the wall in left center field. It was a second inning blast to get the DockHounds on the board. He takes a breaking ball low. Now 1 ball and 1 strike. His 11th home run of the season. He's now alone as the team leader with 11 of those home runs. Nick Banks, who retired at the All-Star break, hit 10 in the first half. 1-1 from Aker. Low and away, now 2-1.
It's a sign of how good of a hitter Marcus Chu has been all season with this plate appearance here. You might be thinking, why do you say that, Sam? It's 2 balls and 1 strike, nobody on, 2 outs. But the fact that Chu is laying off a couple of tough pitches here just shows you how well he can pick up the baseball.
2-1 to Chu. Breaking ball stays inside. It's a hitter's count now for Marcus Chu, 3-1. If Chu can reach, Steven Sensley will bat next for the Lake Country DockHounds. Chu, the team leader in hit by pitches, home runs, slugging percentage, OPS, and runs batted in. 3-1 from Aker. Outside corner. Chu checks his swing. No, he goes around, according to our first base umpire tonight. That's Jet Minton. Nick Webb, home plate umpire, let Minton make the call. P.T. Nunez is our third base umpire. Count's now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 away to Chu. The payoff pitch from Aker is grounded to the left side. Third baseman Cody Bohanek has it. Throw across is in time. It's a 1-2-3 first inning for Cole Aker. Connor Fisk will take the ball for the DockHounds in the home half of the first when we return on the DockHounds Broadcast Network.
What's up, DockHounds fans? Make sure you come out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park on Wednesday, August 2nd for Barkin' Brews, presented by Pagan-Koff Family Pet Cremation Services. You can get $2 hot dogs, $5 walk-off lagers from Lake Louis Brewing Company, and you can see 2023 All-Star Bat Dog Colt, along with his brother Kovu. They are DockHound fan favorites in Lake Country, and for good reason. Go to DockHounds.com/tickets for more information today.
It's okay to admit it. We know the DockHounds are great on the field, but one of the most entertaining parts about going to a DockHounds game is when you see either Colt or Kovu take the field to retrieve your favorite DockHounds bat. Well, have a chance to get your own Colt collectible. There's a Colt bobblehead giveaway on August 26th against the Milwaukee Milkmen. You cannot miss that game. It happens to be the final Saturday home game for the DockHounds at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. The first 2,000 fans that get through the gates at the WBC will get a Colt bobblehead. You have to be there because you got to have this bobblehead featuring one of the most prominent things in DockHounds baseball. It's a Colt bobblehead, August 26th against the Milwaukee Milkmen, going to the first 2,000 fans. Go ahead and get your tickets right now at dockhounds.com/tickets. Connor Fisk gets the ball for the Lake Country DockHounds. It's his 13th start of the season. He's got a 5.78 ERA. Was very good against the Chicago Dogs in his final outing before the All-Star break. This is his first outing since that break. Allowed just one base runner, struck out 2 across 4 innings of just 1-run ball.
Fisk has been so much better lately. Has just allowed 1 run in each of his last 2 appearances, so it's nice to see his ERA under 6. He's been pitching a lot better.
Will face Jesus Lujano to begin his ball game. Pitch misses inside. A little bit of a DockHound shift on the infield towards the pull side of the left-handed hitting Jesus Lujano. 1 ball and no strikes. Kevin Maiton, DockHound's third baseman, playing much closer towards second than he normally does. A curveball in there from Fisk. Now 1 ball and 1 strike. Defensively for the DockHounds, Dustin Woodcock in left, Thomas Jones in center, Steven Sensley in right. Already mentioned it, Maiton at third, Marcus Chu at short, Blake Taberry at second, Curtis Terry at first, with Tyler Hill catching. Foul ball by Lujano, off towards the left side. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes, Fisk ahead.
Yeah, this is a good start from Connor Fisk. You want to attack, get ahead early. That's going to play an effect on your entire outing.
Lujano, a .294 hitter, chops it foul in the box. It'll remain 1 ball and 2 strikes. To follow Lujano, it will be Peyton Eels and Ryan Lidge. If any of those 3 can reach, it'll be Josh Altman, Matt Botcher, Dylan Rosa, Luke Mangieri, Cody Bohannick, and Brennan Metzger. Lujano's been a strong bat in this Dogs order. Flies the 1-2 out to left. Playable for Dustin Woodcock. He's over, and he makes the catch out towards the left center field gap. There's 1 away.
Nice job from Connor Fisk. I mean, if you look at it, the first inning from Fisk, and any starter for that matter, is going to play a huge role on how your entire outing goes. It kind of sets the tone for you out there on the mound. You can keep your pitch count down and keep the runners off the bases, and kind of utilize that as you go along throughout the outing.
Saw Peyton Eels for the first time in a Dogs uniform as he takes a first pitch strike from Fisk. It's 0-1. Went 0 for 3, but reached 3 times and scored twice in last night's Dogs victory, 7-3 over the DockHounds. 0-1 from Fisk, also a fastball for a called strike. Eels patient to begin the at-bat, and it's cost him. He's in a 0-2 hole. Maiton still shifted away from the third base bag against the left-handed hitting Eels. 0-2 from Fisk. He tries to shoot it down that third base line, but a little too late. It's foul.
It's a great approach from Eels, knowing that the third baseman Maiton is as far away from the bag at third as he is. Even with 2 strikes, try to go that way for Eels, and just foul. For Fisk, though, another example getting ahead of a hitter. That's what we like to see.
Still no balls and 2 strikes. Maiton takes a couple of steps back towards that line at third base. 0-2 from Fisk. Breaking ball swung on and missed at the top of the zone. The first strikeout for Connor Fisk today. He sets down Eels on strike. 2 up and 2 down for Fisk.
I love that sequence from both Fisk, and you have to give some credit to Tyler Hill there too, calling those pitches. Fastball. Eels geared up for maybe another one. Fisk said, I'm going to drop the hammer. Really slow breaking ball. That's a fantastic pitch from Fisk, and threw it perfectly there.
Yep, he dropped it right into the zone. Now it's Ryan Lidge, the Dogs backstop. First pitch misses inside. It's ball 1. Lidge has had a terrific series, has haunted the DockHounds at the plate. 3 for 5 in yesterday's win, and then Lidge was 3 for 4 on Tuesday. Chops the 1-0 foul. It's now 1 ball and 1 strikes with 2 away here in the bottom of the first. DockHounds went down in order in the top half against Cole Aker. Lidge batting .322 on the season. 3-hole catcher batting from the left side. 1-1 from Fisk. Misses inside. It's 2-1.
I mean, Ryan Lidge is an all-star for a reason. He is just an incredible player. Both sides. He's very consistent behind the plate as well. He's able to play every day, which is tough, especially for that position, and he pays it off with his bat too.
DockHound shifting towards the right side. Lidge late on a breaking ball. Sat back on it a little too much. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes as he fouls it off. Connor Fisk a strike away from a 1-2-3 frame of his own. Now Lidge will use his timeout in the box. former New York Yankees farmhand. Made it all the way up to AAA in 2019. Played for the Scranton Wilkes Barre Rail Riders. Since then, been in the American Association. Lidge pops up the 2-2. Fly ball out to center. Jones will take a couple of steps back. He's there, and it is a 1-2-3 first for Connor Fisk. We go to the second on the DockHounds Radio Network. Scoreless from Rosemont. One of the best parts about taking in a DockHounds game at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park is the food from Butter Than the Rest and the two DockHound chefs, Tommy and Roberto. They do a tremendous job. I stick with the hot dog combo, a good old hot dog at a ballpark, as well as the tater tots. But Sam, what do you go with?
The pulled pork sandwich is the way to go, Dime. That you can't go wrong with Tommy and Roberto and Butter Than the Rest. So many good choices, but for me, it's the pulled pork sandwich every time.
There are so many more options. You've got fantastic pretzels. You've got tacos. The popcorn is splendid. But the best way for you to find out what your favorite food at the ballpark is to get out to a DockHounds game over the course of the next month. It's just one final month here in the American Association. Check out DockHounds.com/tickets so that way you can enjoy Butter Than the Rest at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. Lake Country, what's better than one baseball game? How about two baseball games? On the 31st of July, the Lake Country DockHounds are hosting a doubleheader against the Milwaukee Milkmen. First game at 4:05 p.m. Central Time, with game number 2 following about 30 minutes after the completion of game number 1. Those two contests will be 7 innings, so it'll be action-packed, and you get 2 games for the price of 1. So what place better to be to wrap up your July than Wisconsin Brewing Company Park? Check out DockHounds.com/tickets for more information. Both sides went down in order in the first. Now Cole Aker back out for the second, facing the heart of the order for the Lake Country DockHounds. It'll be Steven Sensley, Curtis Terry, and Dustin Woodcock for Lake Country.
Time to jump out in front if you're the DockHounds. After dropping the first 2, yes, you did score first in game 1, but it's going to be critical that you can kind of get out on the right foot here in game 3, because wanting to avoid a sweep, you want to make your life as easy as you can as this game progresses.
Steven Sensley will lead it off for the DockHounds here in the second. The Dogs will once again shift against them on the pull side. 3 infielders on that right side for the left-hand hitting Sensley as Aker's first pitch misses low. It's ball 1. Third baseman Bohannick is on the left side protecting against a potential bunt. We've seen Sensley try and get a couple down. Got on base in his first 6 games with the Lake Country DockHounds, but not on base in any of the first 2 games in this series, although he did have an RBI in each of the 2 games. Now 1 ball and 1 strike as he takes a breaking ball over the middle of the plate. It's 1-1.
Thing with Sensley too, his defense has been fantastic since he's arrived as well.
1 ball, 1 strike. Aker fires. Sensley grounds it up the middle, but it's right at the shortstop Altman playing on the first base side of second base. He fires to first. There's 1 away.
That's what the shift will do for you. Without a shift, that's a base hit up the middle. Because the AAPB has not adopted the new shift rules in the MLB, that's just an easy out for Chicago.
Curtis Terry will now bat for the Lake Country DockHounds. He too is yet to get on base in this series against the Chicago Dogs. Just 1 for 18 away from Wisconsin Brewing Company Park to begin his tenure with Lake Country. Takes the first pitch away from Aker. It's 1-0.
Crazy thing with Terry is he's been really, really good at home. Few homers, and has hit the ball all over the yard. He just hasn't been able to find it on the road quite yet.
We know that'll come. 1 ball and no strikes. The pitch from Aker. Terry takes. It's a called strike on the inside corner. Thought about swinging, ultimately held off. Instead, it's a called strike anyways. Now 1-1. Terry, one of the few former major leaguers on this DockHounds team, played with the Texas Rangers in the 2021 season. 1-0. 1-1. Misses inside. It's now 2-1 to Terry.
I like this approach from Curtis. We've talked about it pregame that Aker has struggled with the walks everywhere he's gone, so patience may be the key here for the DockHounds.
2 balls, 1 strike. Aker from the stretch. Terry lines it out to center. Coming in is Rosa. He tracks it down. Line drive just hung up a little too long from Terry. That's out number 2.
Solid contact from Curtis. Off the bat, I thought for sure that was a hit in the gap, but like you said, Dom, that ball stayed up in the air for a long, long time, and Rosa did a good job. Not a typical center fielder, has had time there, but more of a corner guy. Read that well off the bat and made the play.
Now Dustin Woodcock will come up to the plate. 2 away in the top of the second. 5 up and 5 down for Cole Aker. Dogs shifting against Woodcock towards the pull side. He's a left-handed bat and takes a first pitch called strike. It's 0-1. Yet to have a base runner tonight for either side. 3 up and 3 down in both halves of the first, and then Sensley and Terry have been retired by Aker to begin the second. 1-0 to Woodcock. Takes on the outside corner. Now 1 ball and 1 strike.
Excited to see what Dustin can do back in the lineup against the Dogs. He sure does like hitting against Chicago. Had a 3 home run day against the Dogs at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park earlier this season.
That is the only 3 home run game in DockHounds history. Handful of other extra base hits, reached 3 times against the Dogs in the series finale just a week and a half ago right here at Impact Field. He also had a pinch hit double off the bench in the 9th on the night before on the Saturday. 1-1 to Woodcock. Fouled back. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Aker a strike away from a second 1-2-3 frame.
Both of these starters have been fantastic here early, and pitcher's duel means you have to take advantage of every opportunity you may come across at the plate.
Now Josh Altman will head over into the Dogs dugout, and everyone from Chicago will leave the field. Oh, it was a pitch clock violation on Dustin Woodcock. Got caught looking elsewhere. So Woodcock goes down on strikes. Good catch, Sam. So that is the second strikeout for Aker. It's another 1-2-3 inning for him. We go to the home half of the second, still scoreless.
What's up, DockHounds fans? Make sure you come out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park on Wednesday, August 2nd for Barkin' Brews, presented by Pagan-Koff Family Pet Cremation Services. You can get $2 hot dogs, $5 walk-off lagers from Lake Louis Brewing Company, and you can see 2023 All-Star Bat Dog Colt along with his brother Kovu. They are DockHound fan favorites in Lake Country, and for good reason. Go to DockHounds.com/tickets for more information today.
July, the Lake Country DockHounds are hosting a doubleheader against the Milwaukee Milkmen. First game at 4:05 p.m. Central Time, with game number 2 following about 30 minutes after the completion of game number 1. Those 2 contests will be 7 innings, so it'll be action-packed, and you get 2 games for the price of 1. So what place better to be to wrap up your July than Wisconsin Brewing Company Park? Check out DockHounds.com/tickets for more information. It's okay to admit it. We know the DockHounds are great on the field, but one of the most entertaining parts about going to a DockHounds game is when you see either Colt or Kovu take the field to retrieve your favorite DockHounds bat. Well, have a chance to get your own Colt collectible. There's a Colt bobblehead giveaway on August 26th against the Milwaukee Milkmen. You cannot miss that game. It happens to be the final Saturday home game for the DockHounds at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. The first. Josh Altman will lead it off for the Dogs in the bottom of the second. He takes a first pitch strike on the outside corner from Connor Fisk. It's 0-1. 9 up and 9 down for both sides. Fisk pitched a 1-2-3 first against Lujano, Eels, and Lidge in the first. 0-1 to Altman. Fouled straight back. Fisk ahead 0-2.
Connor Fisk on the attack again. That's what you like to see. Doesn't want to mess around, and we've seen what's happened, especially last night with Jorge Guzman, and he wasn't the only one for that matter either. When you fall behind against talented hitters like the Dogs have, it's going to be tough to come back.
0-2 popped up right side. Terry will go into foul ground. He'll reach over and make the catch just by the tarp. Nice grab for out number 1 here in the bottom of the second. Now 10 up and 10 down at Impact Field.
Terry got the point of approval from his teammate Marcus Chu over at short after he made that play. That's one that Marcus Chu makes in his sleep, and from the other side of the infield says, okay, nice play, bud.
Jack Jennings and Tom Kellenick have told us that Curtis Terry is every bit as good at first base as Marcus Chu is. And, Sam and I, we've both said, well, that's kind of hard to believe because Marcus Chu has been so good at first base. Nothing against Curtis Terry, but good to see him make that play right there, getting a second start at first. 1 ball, no strikes, and it's fouled off in the box by Matt Botcher. Now 1-1. Marcus Chu starting at shortstop today. It's his first start at short since high school, he told me before the game. Demetrius Sims scratched from the game about 45 minutes or so before first pitch. Had a little bit of neck tightness, so he couldn't go. Marcus Chu filling in at short. 1 ball, 1 strikes to Botcher. He grounds it to the right side. Taberry will get it on the 2 hops. Throws it on to first. There's 2 away.
Nice job from Blake. He's made a couple of very uncharacteristic errors over at second over the last week or so, and that time made sure to take his time, be sure about the throw, and on the money. Nothing against Blake. He's been so incredible defensively and offensively that you're going to make errors every once in a while, but not there. Made sure to make the easy play.
Now brings up Dylan Rosa to the plate. Right-handed hitting center fielder. He takes the first pitch inside. It's ball 1. First 5 have been retired by Connor Fisk. Rosa batting .277 on the season. We've seen him play right, first, and now center. He lines the pitch up the middle, and that's down for a base hit. It's our first base runner of the night. It's a 2-out single for Dylan Rosa.
2-out hits are something you're going to have to live with if you're Connor Fisk, especially that's just good execution off the bat of Rosa. Line that pitch right back where it came from. Give credit to the hitter there and come back and get Mangieri.
Rosa was hitless last night in the Dogs' 7-3 victory over the DockHounds. Chicago victorious in the first 2 games of the series. Lake Country DockHounds looking to avoid the sweep once again on this 2023 campaign. Now Luke Mangieri, tall first baseman, hits from the left side. First pitch from Fisk is a breaking ball in the dirt. It's 1-0. Haven't seen Mangieri this series. He's been dealing with some back tightness, according to the Chicago Dogs. So good to see him back in the lineup. Hopefully the DockHounds can keep him quiet. Now 1 ball and 1 strike. Fisk fires a fastball on the outside corner. Mangieri hitting .288 on the season with 12 home runs. It's been a big bat in this Dogs lineup. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fisk set. He fires. It's fouled back. Now 1-2.
The last hitter up, Rosa, with 2 strikes on him, behind in the count, came through in a big way to get a knock. But if you're Connor Fisk, you can live with that because you're continuing to get ahead, and that's a good thing. That's going to bode well for you.
DockHound shifting towards the pull side of the left-handed hitting Mangieri. Fouls it off the glove of Tyler Hill. It remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mangieri, 6'3" tall, 215 pounds, from Peoria, Illinois. It's a local product for Chicago. Still 1-2. Fisk is set. He comes home. Off from first is Rosa. Mangieri grounds it to the right side. Terry bounces off the bag, makes a sliding grab, and will take it to first himself. 2 nice plays from the new DockHounds first baseman, making his second start of the season at first, showing his prowess over at the bag. Fisk works around a 2-out single. That's the only base runner we've had through 2. You're listening to the DockHounds Broadcast Network. I'm Dominic Stern. Sam Reeves will take over on play-by-play duties next inning.
Hey, DockHounds fans, come out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park this upcoming homestand and support your hounds, including on Thursday, August 3rd. It will be Thirsty Thursday with $5 walk-off lagers all night long. A $23 Thirsty Thursday ticket package gets you 1 dugout seat, 1 walk-off lager, and 1 walk-off lager bucket hat. It will also be Ladies' Night with $5 off margarita buckets, 10% off all merchandise in the fan store, and free popcorn as well. Make sure you go to dockhounds.com/tickets to get more information and purchase your tickets today.
We know the DockHounds are great on the field, but one of the most entertaining parts about going to a DockHounds game is when you see either Colt or Kovu take the field to retrieve your favorite DockHounds bat. Well, have a chance to get your own Colt collectible. There's a Colt bobblehead giveaway on August 26th against the Milwaukee Milkmen. You cannot miss that game. It happens to be the final Saturday home game for the DockHounds at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. The first 2,000 fans that get through the gates at the WBC will get a Colt bobblehead. You have to be there because you got to have this bobblehead featuring one of the most prominent things in DockHounds baseball. It's a Colt bobblehead, August 26th against the Milwaukee Milkmen, going to the first 2,000 fans. Go ahead and get your tickets right now at dockhounds.com/tickets.
The DockHounds still in search of their first base runner. Entered inning number 3 here from Impact Field. Brian Ray to lead it off. That's a line shot, but right into the glove of the diving Bohannock. It's a tough play from Cody, one of the best defensive third basemen in the league. Makes it, though, and Ray retired on hard contact again.
Yeah, it's been a common trend for Brian Ray this season. He crushed that ball, and Cody Bohannock just made an incredible play. Just got to tip your cap, take it back to the dugout, and try and hit the ball hard again next time.
Kevin Maiton will step in now. Just a 105 average over 19 at-bats for the DockHounds this season. Wasn't originally in the lineup today, but had to be reshuffled and is now in there with the injury to Demetrius Sims. Hopefully he's all right. Maiton looks to start a little one-out rally here. Still in search of our first run. 1 ball and no strikes the count from Cole Aker. And that's outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, Maiton still getting settled in with the DockHounds, just his 6th game with Lake Country. We saw him hit the ball hard a couple of times earlier in this series, hoping that can be a trend we see continue to grow.
Swung on and missed that time, and Aker gets back in the count now. 2 balls and 1 strike. Maiton, 32nd ranked prospect in all of baseball from MLB.com. Prior to the 2017 season, spent time in the Angels organization, reached Double-A before being released on June 19th and then signed by the Lake Country DockHounds. 3 balls and 1 strike your count. Tyler Hill on deck for Lake Country. Swung on and missed there. Aker does a good job, pulls the string and fills the count up at 3-2.
Yeah, I think we've seen a little too much swing and miss thus far for Maiton. That'll be something he'll work on as the season goes along.
Full count to Maiton. Here comes the payoff. In there, strike 3 called. Aker sets down Maiton, and that's 2 outs here in the 3rd. Brings up Hill.
Yeah, it didn't look like we saw a running fastball or a fastball with some arm side run from Aker, but that pitch looked like it started off the plate and broke back over it from Aker. That was a nice pitch right on the inside corner, and it froze Maiton.
That's the 3rd strikeout from Aker today. One was via the pitch clock violation. Hill drives one down the line, but that will be foul. Good contact, just to the wrong side of the line.
Yeah, we're waiting to see the pop from Hill. If you watch batting practice of Tyler Hill, he's got as much power as anybody on this DockHounds team. He just hasn't shown it in the games, though the bat's been a lot better of late.
The team has played well with Hill behind the plate as well. Lake Country's won 5 of 7 starts from Hill, 5 of the last 7, and has a 1 ball and 1 strike count here. Tyler was fantastic yesterday, had a couple of hits, and was good behind the plate as he is always back there. 1-1 is well up and inside as well. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, chance here to extend the inning and get the top of the order back up. Don't have a base runner yet, but you're in a hitter's count. Take advantage of your Hill.
2 balls and 1 strike. Aker from the 3rd base side of the rubber. That's upstairs. Ball 3, 3-1.
Yeah, now it's really a hitter's count for Hill.
See if Tyler can pick one out and drive it. We'll take a walk too, of course. Blake Tiberi waiting to hit next. 3-1 pitch. That's inside, ball 4. And Tiberi will come up as Hill heads to first. First base runner on the day for Lake Country.
Yep, great plate appearance if you're Tyler Hill. You crushed that first pitch. It might have scared Aker a little bit. You know, Sam, you and I, we joke, oh, that's strike 1 whenever you hit a ball hard. But it can have that psychological effect if you're Aker. Oh, wow, all right, so he's kind of onto me. I need to be a little bit more careful. And he was a little too careful.
That's the 6th walk on the season for Hill at the plate. Blake Tiberi takes a ball off the plate on the outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes for the DockHounds leadoff man. Grounded out to second, his first time up to lead off the ball game. Another one misses away from Aker. 2-0 to Blake DeBerry.
Yeah, another hitter's count if you're a Lake Country batter. You've hit the ball hard once this inning, and you've gotten yourself into 2 hitters counts. This is a third. It's time to capitalize.
Tyler Hill takes his lead off first with 2 down. There's a throw over to first, but Hill back in standing up.
And not exactly the dude you have to worry the most about over there at first base, but we know the DockHounds will run with just about anyone. If you can pick up on the timing, you can steal the bag.
We'll see if Hill is in motion. Does have 1 stolen base this season. That pitch on the outside corner. Blake DeBerry, a little bend in the knees. Isn't so throwed with a call from Nick Webb, but it's 2-1 now.
Yeah, that pitch might have also been a little upstairs, too. And we know Blake DeBerry's got as good of an eye as anybody on this DockHounds team. I'm going to trust Blake there. That might have not been a strike.
2-1. That's definitely not a strike. Well away, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. I understand why you can trust DeBerry at the plate with his eye, Dom. Second on the team in walks. So definitely effective in that category. 1 pitch away from drawing another one here. On the outside corner, Blake started toward first, and Nick Webb said, stay here.
Yeah, it was kind of that same spot that got that first called strike against DeBerry, so at least there's some consistency, but we don't have the best angle, especially at that far outside corner to DeBerry, but that pitch looked like it was upstairs and away.
I would agree. On the full count, Hill running. That's up and away, ball 4, so DeBerry does take a walk. That's number 35 on the year for Blake. The DockHounds in business here with 2 outs, first and second for Thomas Jones.
Yeah, there was no doubt about that pitch, Sam. That was not very close to the strike zone. We're starting to see that command waver from Cole Aker. This is something that will happen to Aker. He'll issue some walks here and there. So for the DockHounds, be patient, be selective with your pitches because Aker might groove you one.
Thomas Jones looks to take advantage if he can pick one up. That pitch misses inside, ball 1. Thomas struck out swinging his first time, but 3rd on the team in batting average for the DockHounds, or in RBIs, excuse me, with 33. As the pitching coach, Stu Clyburn, heads to the mound, have a conversation with Aker how to attack Thomas Jones. I'll ask you the question, Dom. If you're Aker, how do you go after Jones here?
I'd probably try and pitch on the outside edge, but you really need to try and get back in the zone consistently. I mean, I think that's what Clyburn's really out here to talk to Aker about. Back-to-back walks, and now you're behind Thomas Jones. Went to a first pitch breaking ball to just try and get something back over the plate. He missed, and that's really 4 straight batters in which Aker has fallen behind here in this inning, was able to get Maitan on strikes, but the command has really not been there here in this 3rd inning.
And I'm not overly surprised by that, and I don't think you are either, Dom. As we've talked about, the command has been the biggest issue in the career for Aker. It's a line drive right back behind the plate. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Gets back in the zone there. Jones just missed it, though. Fouled it straight back.
Yeah, these pitching coaches, when they go out there and tell a pitcher something, it typically works.
More times than not, that's for sure. 1-1 to Jones. First and second, 2 down, and that's inside. It hits Thomas Jones on the back. He'll head to first. Hopefully he's okay. And the DockHounds will have the bases loaded.
Yeah, that's 3 straight free passes, and that's the last thing you want to see when you're already theoretically down Demetrius Sims for the ball game. Scratched from the lineup, so then Thomas Jones now, you really got to hope that he's okay. He's already down one of your best athletes.
As the trainer, Kayla Johnson, along with Olivia, will walk him over to first and make sure he's all right. That's the 8th hit by pitch for Thomas Jones this season. 2nd on the DockHounds. Not necessarily something you want to be ranked highly in, but as long as Thomas is okay, the DockHounds will take the base runner. And the base is now full of DockHounds. Marcus Chu will come up in a big spot. Grounded out to 3rd his first time. Will look to come through. First pitch from Aker. In there, strike 1.
Maybe a little too passive there if you're Chu. That pitch was right over the heart of the plate. Obviously, after 3 straight free passes, you got to be patient, but that would have been one that he could have crushed.
Tyler Hill at third, Blake DeBerry second, and Thomas Jones at first. That's in there. Another one taken for strike two.
Yeah, now you're deep in the hole if you're Chew. You just got to try and fight now. Don't want to leave the bases loaded.
2 straight fastballs, 2 straight strikes. We'll see where Aker goes now. The 0-2. Chew on the ground. Into the glove of Bohannock. Will go to second, short way, and get the out. That will end the threat. The DockHounds load the bases, but do not score. We're still scoreless as we head to the bottom of the third on the DockHounds Baseball Network.
I know you all are itching to get back to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park to watch your DockHounds take the field again, but let's have some patience, Lake Country. The DockHounds have one more series before they return home for an 8-game, 7-day homestand, 5 games against the Milwaukee Milkmen, and then the final 3 next weekend against the Lincoln Salt Dogs. You have to get out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park because there's so much baseball and there's not that much more time left in the American Association season. So we'd love to see you out at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park starting on Monday all the way through Sunday. We've got 8 games in 7 days. What better place to spend your night or even your Sunday afternoon than at the ballpark? One of the best parts about taking in a DockHounds game at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park is the food from Butter Than the Rest and the 2 DockHound chefs, Tommy and Roberto. They do a tremendous job. I stick with the hot dog combo, a good old hot dog at a ballpark, as well as the tater tots. But Sam, what do you go with?
The pulled pork sandwich is the way to go, Dime. That you can't go wrong with Tommy and Roberto and Butter Than the Rest. So many good choices, but for me, it's the pulled pork sandwich every time.
There are so many more options. You've got fantastic pretzels. You've got tacos. The popcorn is splendid. But the best way for you to find out what your favorite food at the ballpark is to get out to a DockHounds game over the course of the next month. It's just one final month here in the American Association. Check out DockHounds.com/tickets so that way you can enjoy Butter Than the Rest at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park.
Still in search of our first run of the ball game. To the bottom of the third, it will be Cody Bohannock to lead it off for the Chicago Dogs against the Lake Country starter Connor Fisk, who's been very good early on, Dom.
Yeah, command on both sides of the plate has been there for Fisk thus far. He's even dropped in a handful of breaking balls for strikes. Look for that trend to continue.
First pitch to Bohannock misses away. Ball 1 on a fastball, and Fisk falls behind. 8, 9, and 1 for the Dogs. Bohannock, Metzger, and then the top of the order, Lujano, due up here in the bottom of the third. Just misses the outer half there. 2 balls and no strikes.
I think that pitch might have missed down the middle, Sam.
I agree. But apparently, Nick Webb does not agree with us. That one misses as well. 3-0 now from Fisk.
Yeah, that pitch might have missed upstairs, but these spots to begin the inning have not been bad from Fisk. No strikes to show for it, though.
The 3-0 on the inside corner. Fisk will try to work his way back. Bohannock, 221 average on the season, 213 at-bats, 47 hits, 29 runs. That one's high in the air. Back behind second to Berry over, and he'll make the catch in front of Steven Sensley for the first out.
Yeah, that's an excellent pitch there from Connor Fisk. 3 balls and 1 strike. You certainly don't want to get into a bad count like that, but you have to be comfortable pitching from behind in the count, and that was an excellent pitch.
Now Brennan Metzger comes up. Average just sits at 214. Squares the bunt. Pulls it back. That's foul. Strike 1. An awkward looking bunt attempt. Ended up making contact, but foul at the plate. That's just strike 1 from Connor Fisk. Metzger at the bottom of the order. A 675 OPS. Up and in. Ball 1, 1-1 the count. Just 1 hit on the ball game so far on either side. And Fisk finds his own there. It's 1-2. That 1 hit belongs to Dylan Rosa in inning number 2. One ball, 2 strikes. Fisk to the plate. Check swing. No swing, says the first base umpire, Jet Minton. And it's 2-2 now.
That was a great breaking ball, but a good leave there by Metzger. Started over the plate, broke off it. Nice job to pick it up and leave it.
2-2. In the air to left field. Over goes Woodcock toward the line and makes the catch just a step away from the foul line. That's 2 outs and a quick 2 outs from Connor Fisk.
Yeah, that was a great pitch there from Fisk once again. Nothing that Metzger could do with it. Tried to get his hands inside, wasn't able to do so successfully, and he popped it up sky high down that left field line. Nice job by Woodcock to get over towards the line and track it down because that was a long run.
Heading up to Jesus Lujano now, who flew out to Woodcock in his first at-bat. First pitch, a breaking ball is low, ball 1. Finale of the 3-game series. Last time the DockHounds play here at Impact Field this season in the regular season. Ground ball to first. Terry has it, feeding to Fisk. Race to the bag, and Connor just wins it. Beats Lujano by about a step. It's a 1-2-3 inning from Connor Fisk. We're still scoreless. Back to Dominic Stern as we head to the 4th.
It's okay to admit it. We know the DockHounds are great on the field, but one of the most entertaining parts about going to a DockHounds game is when you see either Colt or Kovu take the field to retrieve your favorite DockHounds bat. Well, have a chance to get your own Colt collectible. There's a Colt bobblehead giveaway on August 26th against the Milwaukee Milkmen. You cannot miss that game. It happens to be the final Saturday home game for the DockHounds at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. The first 2,000 fans that get through the gates at the WBC will get a Colt bobblehead. You have to be there because you got to have this bobblehead featuring one of the most prominent things in DockHounds baseball. It's a Colt bobblehead, August 26th against the Milwaukee Milkmen, going to the first 2,000 fans. Go ahead and get your tickets right now at dockhounds.com/tickets.
What's up, DockHounds fans? Make sure you come out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park on Wednesday, August 2nd for Barkin' Brews, presented by Peginkoff Family Pet Cremation Services. You can get $2 hot dogs, $5 walk-off lagers from Lake Louis Brewing Company, and you can see 2023 All-Star Bat Dog Colt, along with his brother Kovu. They are DockHound fan favorites in Lake Country, and for good reason. Go to dockhounds.com/tickets for more information today.
Less than 45 minutes into the ballgame, we're already through 3 innings. God bless the pitch clock here in the American Association between the Lake Country DockHounds and the Chicago Dogs. Lake Country 30-32 entering the ballgame, while the Dogs are 33-31. 2 games separate these two squads for 3rd and 4th place in the American Association East standings. You're listening to the DockHounds Broadcast Network. Thank you all for tuning in on the Lake Country DockHounds YouTube page. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so because we've got lots of content coming out on this YouTube channel. Cole Laker's been excellent thus far. No hits allowed through 3. Has allowed 3 base runners. In fact, 3 straight reached with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. It was Tyler Hill and Blake Terry who walked, and then Thomas Jones was hit by a pitch. But he got Marcus Chu to ground out into an inning-ending force out. Now Steven Sensley will lead it off for the DockHounds in the 4th. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it straight back. It's 0-1.
It's a good spot for the DockHounds to jump out. You have the middle of the order coming up. Still not able to bring one across against Aker. You want to jump on him here before too long.
DockHounds with 23 of their 30 wins when they score first on this 2023 campaign. Breaking ball, swing and a miss from Sensley. He's now in a 0-2 hole. Grounded out to the shortstop, Josh Altman, towards the right side of second base. And the pull shift for Chicago. They're shifting in a similar position right now again. Lujano playing pretty much where the shortstop, not Lujano, that's Cody Bohannick. Dogs third baseman playing typically where the shortstop would be. Altman once again on the first base side of second. The second baseman Eels out in right field. 0-2 to Sensley. Popped up in the infield. Foul ground, Lidge now coming back towards the backstop. Makes the catch. Just in front of the warning track. That's out number 1 in the 4th.
When you fall behind 2 strikes against anybody, it makes your life tougher. And in that instance, Steven Sensley was behind in the count. Tried to go the other way, popped it up back behind the plate.
Leadoff batters are now 0 for 4 for the DockHounds tonight against Cole Laker. Now that'll bring up Curtis Terry. He lined out to the center fielder, Dylan Rosa, in his last at-bat. He's 0 for 1. Right on right matchup. Aker fires. First pitch breaking ball inside. It's 1-0.
The thing I have really been impressed with today from Terry is his defense at first. We've talked about it a little bit today, Dom, but he showed us why this front office is so excited to have him with the ability to play defensively at first.
1-0, line back up the middle. Rosa will come in, now charges. He lays out and can't make the grab. That's the first hit of the ball game for the DockHounds. It'll be a single for Terry. The glove fell off. The center fielder, Dylan Rosa, was coming in, then slowed, and then had to charge once again. Dove couldn't make the catch. It's been a cycle of bad defense in center field for the Dogs thus far against the DockHounds.
Exactly, Dom. You took the words right out of my mouth. It's been some adventures from Nick Heath out there in the first 2 games, and in that one, just a misread, it looked like, from Rosa. Thought he had it pretty easily, was just jogging in kind of nonchalantly, realized he had to come in a little harder at the last second and just couldn't get there, had to dive, and just missed it.
Rosa still lingering out in center. On the mound, Aker was ready to go, but Rosa is not in center. If you're Terry, you hit the ball hard and good things can happen. Line drive right at the center fielder can be a tough ball to read. Still waiting on Rosa. No trainers, but Rosa out there gives a thumbs up, and we should be good to go. It's the first base hit for the DockHounds tonight, and Terry is now 2 for 20 on the road in his time with the DockHounds. Brings up Dustin Woodcock to the plate. Stands in from the left side, swings the first pitch and grounds it towards the right side. Eels to second for 1. There will be no play at first. They cut down Terry as the lead runner. It's a fielder's choice, and there's 2 away.
The ball was just hit way too slowly for the Dogs to turn 2. Terry did a good job of kind of hanging out to try to distract Eels from seeing that ball as it rolled into his glove, but nice play from the middle infield of Chicago, and DockHounds still have a runner on here with 2 down now.
You'll get a little bit of a speed upgrade at first as well. Dustin Woodcock has 3 stolen bases on the season, and Brian Ray will now step up with 2 down. Lined out towards the third baseman Bohannick in his last at-bat. First pitch breaking ball misses high, and a back pick to first. Woodcock dives back safely into the bag. It's 1-0.
I think the DockHounds are thinking the same thing you are, Dom. It looked like Woodcock just a step further away from the bag.
1-0 now to Ray, batting .304 on the season. Aker comes home. It's a breaking ball, swing and a miss. Now 1 ball and 1 strike. Fastball, slider, curveball, and changeup from Aker. Feels like we've seen a lot of curveballs tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 away. Aker set, comes home. Woodcock off for second. Pitch misses outside. The throw down from Lidge is in time. Eels applies the tag. Woodcock is caught stealing for the first time this season. It ends up being a 1-2-3-4th inning for the DockHounds. We go to the home half of the 4th. Still scoreless in Rosemont on the DockHounds Broadcast Network. Who let the dogs out? There are going to be so many dogs at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park next weekend when the Lincoln Salt Dogs come to Oconomowoc in Lake Country for the first time this season. And I'm going to tell you this, the 3 games the DockHounds played against the Salt Dogs all the way back in June were thrilling contests, and you know that the next 3 are going to be just as good. 2 teams that are fighting for a playoff spot here in the American Association. We need your help, Lake Country. We need you to show up to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park to support the DockHounds in one of the biggest series of the season. Next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. 6:35 start on Friday, 6:05 first pitch on Saturday, and then a 1:35 afternoon game on Sunday. You got to be at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. Check out DockHounds.com/tickets for more information, and we'd love to see you out there.
Hey, DockHounds fans, come out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park this upcoming homestand and support your hounds, including on Thursday, August 3rd. It will be Thirsty Thursday with $5 walk-off lagers all night long. A $23 Thirsty Thursday ticket package gets you 1 dugout seat, 1 walk-off lager, and 1 walk-off lager bucket hat. It will also be Ladies' Night with $5 off margarita buckets, 10% off all merchandise in the fan store, and free popcorn as well. Make sure you go to DockHounds.com/tickets to get more information and purchase your tickets today.
Game is moving along. We're now just 50 minutes into the ball game when we're through 3.5 innings, scoreless at Impact Field. Connor Fisk has been excellent thus far. Just 1 base runner through his first 3 frames. It was a Dylan Rosa single with 2 away in the second. He'll now face the Dogs' second baseman, Peyton Eels, who is his lone strikeout victim to begin the fourth. Maiton in at third base, protecting against a bunt, and Fisk misses with the first pitch. It's 1-0.
Connor Fisk, just keep doing your thing. He's been good. He's been living on the corners. He's gotten a few swings and misses, and just keep going.
1-0, swing and a miss on the heater. Now 1 ball and 1 strike. Defensively for the DockHounds, it's Woodcock, Jones, and Sensley in the outfield from left to right. Terry, Taberry, Chu, and Maiton from right to left in the infield with Hill behind the plate. Nice spot on the outside corner. Well-located fastball. Fisk ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Eels. It'll be Lidge and then Altman to follow for Chicago here in the home half of the fourth. 1-2 from Fisk. Fastball misses away. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. DockHounds wearing their dark blue, navy blue uniforms, while the Dogs are wearing their all whites. 2-2 from Fisk. Curveball lined out to left. Woodcock will come in, but it'll fall in front. That's a base hit. Leadoff knock for Peyton Eels. That's the first leadoff base runner we've had tonight for either side.
That's one where Fisk has got to be a little bit frustrated. He made a quality pitch, just soft contact, blooped in front of Woodcock, and Fisk is going to have to shake that off and go after Lidge. It's the middle of the order upcoming for the Dogs, so a tough part of the order for the leadoff man to reach, but Fisk just 1 pitch away from getting a ground ball and turning 2.
Second hit for Chicago now brings up Ryan Lidge, left-handed hitting catcher. He swings the first pitch and lines it foul down the right side. Loud contact, but what's that, Sam?
Strike 1.
Strike 1. Lidge flew out to center in the first. That was a 1-2-3 first frame for Connor Fisk. He also set down the Dogs in order last inning in the third. Would need a double play right here or from Josh Altman if he wanted to do so here in the fourth. Shift for the DockHounds towards the right side. A pickoff attempt from Fisk. Eels dives back in safely at first. Tied at 0 here in Rosemont, Illinois. Game 3 of 3 between the Dogs and DockHounds. Lidge was in the box, not ready when Fisk came set, so that'll be a warning issued out by our home plate umpire. And it's Nick Webb, Jet Minton at first, and P.T. Nunez, our third base umpire tonight. No balls and 1 strike still. Fisk is set. Couple of looks back to Eels, now comes home. Pitch misses high, it's 1-1.
Fisk hasn't had to work with a lot of traffic on the bases so far today, so to kind of readjust to that and see what he can do.
Count even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Lidge taking his time getting back in the box with the pitch clock now at 8 seconds. Fisk comes set, now comes home. Pitches at the top of the zone, called strike on the fastball. Fisk back in front. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. See, they've got the stuffed mustard bottles ready here at Impact Field. They'll pass the mustard. Chicago Dogs fans. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fisk is set. Now fires. Breaking ball misses high and away. Now a back pick to first. Eels alert. Dives back in safely. It's 2-2.
You all know here in Chicago, no ketchup at Impact Field. Just the mustard.
I just go no condiments on my hot dogs.
Yes, you do.
What about you, Sam?
I'm a relish guy. Big
Relish.
time relish guy.
All
yes.
right. You're relishing the Dogs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. No away in the bottom of the fourth. Peyton Eels at first. Pitch home from Fisk. Fouled off to the left side. It'll remain 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good start thus far from Connor Fisk in his 13th outing with the Lake Country DockHounds. Upcoming pitch from him will be his 60th offering. It's been excellent thus far. 32 strikes and 17 balls. So that means it'll be his 50th pitch. Math, hard.
Indeed.
2-2, Eels off for second. Lidge grounds it to first. Terry will have no play at second and will just step on first. That would have been a beautifully placed double play ball. Instead, it's just 1 out. Eels moves up to second. The first runner in scoring position today for Chicago. There's now 1 away.
Butch Hobson knows what he's talking about in the Chicago dugout. It's like he knew something was coming. That was a tailor-made double play right to Terry. But because Eels was going, the DockHounds could only get 1. But you can't be too upset. That's a tough hitter. Anytime you can get Ryan Lidge out, that's a win.
I would have loved to see that turn because it would have been Terry to Chu and then potentially back to Terry. We still have not seen Chu get the ball yet at shortstop today, replacing Demetrius Sims. First pitch to Altman is in the dirt. Nice block by Tyler Hill. Keeps it in front and keeps Eels at second. Certainly want to keep that go-ahead run at second with one away. It's now 1-0 to Altman. He popped up in foul ground. Curtis Terry, we just mentioned it, at first base, went over into foul ground, reached over the tarp while he was on the warning track to make the catch. 1 ball and no strikes. Fisk is set now, looks back to Eels, comes home, and it misses low. Now 2-0.
Chu's got to make a play at some point, right? They got to give him a ball sometime today. He can't get out of here without a single ground ball to him.
That would be pretty remarkable. Chu once again making his first start at shortstop since high school. 2-0 to Altman. Ground ball to Chu. Here's his first test to the backhand. Throw across is low, and it gets by Terry. Eels will race home from third. There'll likely be an error on Marcus Chu. Altman up to second. The Dogs strike first. It's 1-0.
Well, there it was, Tom. Right as we finished talking, and Chu's just not used to being over there. I mean, he's been incredible at first. Just the first task at short, not quite the way Chu would have liked.
Terry had a chance to make the pick. It was a bit of a long hop, and I got by him. As it stands, that is an unearned run charged to Connor Fisk now. And brings up Matt Botcher, grounded out to second in his first at-bat. Still a runner at second. It's Josh Hultman with one away. Botcher will score around a bunt. It goes foul down the third base side. Maitan didn't even really give it a look. Bunt was well foul. It's 0-1.
I find that kind of interesting from a Chicago point of view. Josh Altman, incredible hitter, sitting at 320, sitting at 319. And it's a ton of power. We're going to bunt here. Interesting.
It's Matt Botcher at the plate. Left-hand hitting DH today for the Dogs. 0-1. Botcher drives it out to right. Heading towards the corner here at Impact Field. It is hooking, but it goes foul. Now 0-2.
I mean, Botcher makes a little more sense. I said Altman, as he was the one who hit the grounder just a second ago, but Botcher's been fantastic. We saw him in the outfield yesterday. He can play all over the place and is DHing today.
It is now officially scored, and it is ruled an error on Marcus Chu. DockHounds in a pull side shift against Botcher. Fouls back the 0-2. It'll remain no balls and 2 strikes.
We talked about it, Dom, off the air before the game. Because Demetrius Sims couldn't go today, there aren't a ton of options for Ken Huckabee in the infield to put it short. The only one that really comes to my mind right away, I guess, is Brian Ray, but he's more of a corner guy, played a little more second than short, so not a ton of choices.
0-2 again to Botcher. Off-speed pitch, it stays up high. Now 1-2. I think we could also potentially imagined Blake Taberry at shortstop as well. But yeah, Marcus Chu would not have been my first guess, but we know how athletic he is in the infield. So that's Ken Huckabee's choice. Now 1-2, ground ball right side to Blake Taberry at second. Altman moves up to third, but Botcher is retired. There's now 2 away.
With 2 outs, that runner advancing 90 feet could prove costly on a pitch in the dirt, but the DockHounds do the most important thing, get the out there and make sure that there are 2 down here with Rosa coming up.
So the run's now officially unearned, charged to Marcus Chu. Any other runs that score in this frame will also be unearned runs. Now it brings up Dylan Rosa with 2 away. He has one of the 2 hits for the Dogs thus far today. He and Peyton Eels. Eels scored the first run earlier this frame on the error by Marcus Chu. Now 1 ball and no strikes. The pitch misses upstairs to Rosa. Rosa with the Kansas City Monarchs earlier in the season. So this is his 3rd series still against the DockHounds. Once with Kansas City and now twice here with the Dogs. Homered twice in the previous series before the All-Star break with Chicago in the first and then second game. Those are his only 2 home runs with Chicago. Hit 7 with the Monarchs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch from Fisk. Breaking ball in the dirt. A wave and a miss from Rosa and a nice block from Hill. Keeps Altman at third, and now Fisk in front of Rosa. It's 1-2.
I just finished mentioning the fact that 90 feet could prove costly. Cole made sure the runner stayed put. What a play.
DockHounds outfield shifted out towards right for the right-handed hitting Rosa. 1-2, breaking ball, swing and a miss. A beautiful slider from Connor Fisk. That's his 2nd strikeout of the ballgame. Gets Rosa swinging to limit the damage to just the 1 unearned run in the 4th. But the Dogs strike first, It's 1-0 as we go to the 5th on the DockHounds Broadcast Network.
Hey DockHounds fans, come out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park this upcoming homestand and support your hounds, including on Thursday, August 3rd. It will be Thirsty Thursday with $5 walk-off lagers all night long. A $23 Thirsty Thursday ticket package gets you one dugout seat, one walk-off lager, and one walk-off lager bucket hat. It will also be Ladies' Night with $5 off margarita buckets, 10% off all merchandise in the fan store, and free popcorn as well. Make sure you go to dockhounds.com/tickets to get more information and purchase your tickets today.
I know you all are itching to get back to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park to watch your DockHounds take the field again, but let's have some patience, Lake Country. The DockHounds have one more series before they return home for an 8-game, 7-day homestand, 5 games against the Milwaukee Milkmen, and then the final 3 next weekend against the Lincoln Salt Dogs. You have to get out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park because there's so much baseball and there's not that much more time left in the American Association season. So we'd love to see you out at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park starting on Monday all the way through Sunday. We've got 8 games in 7 days. What better place to spend your night or even your Sunday afternoon than at the ballpark? We head to the 5th at Impact Field between the Chicago Dogs and the Lake Country DockHounds. Lake Country trailing 1-0. It'll be the bottom of the order: Brian Ray, Kevin Maiton, and Tyler Hill to bat.
For the DockHounds, you need to jump back now. 1 run is nothing you cannot overcome. The DockHounds have plenty of time left to get it back and then some. But it's always critical to jump back ASAP after the Dogs take the advantage. You don't want to wait too long.
That's as soon as possible if you're my grandma listening back in Carpinteria. First pitch misses low and in the dirt to Brian Ray. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Mentioned it when Ray was at bat to end the 4th when Dustin Woodcock was caught stealing second. Looking to get into scoring position, Brian Ray 0 for 1 with a line out towards the third baseman Cody Bohannick, who made a terrific diving grab into the hole to rob Ray of a base hit and potentially extra bases. Now 2 balls and no strikes as Ray is pushed off the plate on a high and inside fastball from Cole Aker, who's through 4 scoreless and has allowed just 1 base hit. Another high and inside fastball. Ray's ahead 3 balls and no strikes.
Good start at the plate for Lake Country. Make Aker work, make him come after you, and if he's not going to do that, you can take your walk.
He's already walked 2 and also hit Thomas Jones with a pitch. 3-0 at the top of the zone. Ray with 1 step out of the batter's box. Thought it might have missed high, then realized it was going to be a called strike from Nick Webb and retreated back to the box. It's now 3-1.
That's one where you ask Webb, is that as high as you're going to go? And if he says yes, you're okay.
Ray pops the 3-1 foul straight back. Counts now full, 3-2. Someone just off to our right just made the catch. We're so close to getting a foul ball into our booth.
It's going to happen.
Full count, Aker pitching out of the stretch. The payoff pitch to Ray. Runs inside and it hits Ray. Very upset in the box. No, is that a foul ball? There's no way. Jet Minton is going to come in from the first base umpiring position as Nick Webb said that was a foul ball. That was simply just not foul, and they correct it. Good umpiring as Jet Minton and P.T. Nunez. That's why you have 3 umpires. You can correct a wrong call. That hit off the forearm of Ray. It shot straight towards the backstops. That's maybe why Nick Webb thought it hit Ray's bat. Ken Huckabee came racing from the third base coaching box. It's the right call. Ray's on base, the first leadoff batter on for Lake Country. We saw the leadoff runner, Peyton Eels, single in the 4th, and he came around to score the only run of the ballgame.
Hopefully the DockHounds can have the same result and maybe tack on a few more. And Brian Ray, chance to do some damage on the bases too.
Now Kevin Maiton at the plate takes the first pitch away. It's 1-0. He struck out looking in his first at-bat. 1 of 2 strikeouts for Cole Aker, and that was his most recent K. Actually 1 of 3 because he got Dustin Woodcock on a pitch clock violation. Maiton lines it out to right. In comes the right fielder Lujano to make the catch. That was well struck. Ray started towards second, realized it was going to be caught. It's a loud first out here in the 5th. There's 1 away, and that'll bring up Tyler Hill.
More solid contact for the DockHounds that ends in an unlucky situation. That one hit on the nose out to Luhana, who almost overran the ball too far and had to reach high over his head to make that catch, but DockHounds turned away there.
That's how hard that ball was hit. It almost went over Luhano's head. Tyler Hill was the first base runner of the night for the DockHounds. He walked in his first plate appearance, swings at the first pitch, and fouls it off to the right side. It's 0-1. Hill has just continued to be a strong bat in this DockHounds order. On base in 6 of his last 7 starts, and in 5 of those, he's been on base twice, including last night in which he singled 2 times. Akers set, here's the 0-1. This is high. Now 1 ball and 1 strike on the fastball.
Tyler Hill has really made the most of his opportunities, and he's done so well that he's going to start getting more. Just as evidenced here tonight, and Ken Huckabee getting a second start behind the plate.
OBP on July 1st for Hill was 115. It's now 315 and climbing with that walk earlier in the contest. 1 ball, 1 strike. Aker is ready, but will pick over to first. Ray dives back in safely. No tag from Luke Mangieri, Dogs first baseman.
And I won't be surprised if Brian Ray goes. 5th on the DockHounds on stolen bases with 7, and you want to try to manufacture a run here.
DockHounds trailing 1-0 here in the top of the 5th. 1-1 to Hill. This is inside. Maybe a little bit of a cross-up as Lidge had to swipe at that ball on the inside to the right-handed hitting Tyler Hill. Might have been over the plate. Didn't get the call. It's 2-1.
A lot of the times on those, even if they are over the plate, if the catcher doesn't receive it very well, that kind of deceives the home plate umpire.
2 balls, 1 strike. Aker comes home. Hill lines it out to right center. Luhano over into the gap. He makes the catch. Ray will have to go back to first. 2 putouts in right field by Jesus Luhano. There's now 2 away in the 5th.
That one not hit quite as hard as the one prior, but still decent contact from Tyler Hill. Just hung up in the air for a little too long.
Brings up Blake Taberry, DockHounds' second baseman. Walked in his last plate appearance. Extends his on-base streak now to 11 games. Has a hit in 9 of the last 10 games, though. You can make it 10 of 11 right here. First pitch to Taberry. Misses outside. It's 1-0. Blake's second on the DockHounds in both batting average and on-base percentage. .314 batting average following his out in the first. OBP still above 400, though. It's been a perfect leadoff batter for the DockHounds. 1-0. Taberry lines it out to right. Luhano charges in, and he makes the catch. And Luhano was busy that half inning. 2 well-struck balls, and also another one hit into the gap by Tyler Hill. And all 3 were caught out there by Luhano. I write 9 in my scorebook for the 3rd time. And we're halfway home at Impact Field. Dogs in front of the Hounds. It's 1-0 on the DockHounds Broadcast Network. It's okay to admit it. We know the DockHounds are great on the field, but one of the most entertaining parts about going to a DockHounds game is when you see either Colt or Kovu take the field to retrieve your favorite DockHounds bat. Well, have a chance to get your own Colt collectible. There's a Colt bobblehead giveaway on August 26th against the Milwaukee Milkmen. You cannot miss that game. It happens to be the final Saturday home game for the DockHounds at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. The first 2,000 fans that get through the gates at the WBC will get a Colt bobblehead. You have to be there because you got to have this bobblehead featuring one of the most prominent things in DockHounds baseball. It's a Colt bobblehead, August 26th against the Milwaukee Milkmen, going to the first 2,000 fans. Go ahead and get your tickets right now at dockhounds.com/tickets. One of the best parts about taking in a DockHounds game at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park is the food from Butter Than the Rest and the 2 DockHound chefs, Tommy and Roberto. They do a tremendous job. I stick with the hot dog combo, a good old hot dog at a ballpark, as well as the tater tots. But Sam, what do you go with?
The pulled pork sandwich is the way to go, Dime. That you can't go wrong with Tommy and Roberto and Butter Than the Rest. So many good choices, but for me, it's the pulled pork sandwich every time.
There are so many more options. You've got fantastic pretzels. You've got tacos. The popcorn is splendid. But the best way for you to find out what your favorite food at the ballpark is to get out to a DockHounds game over the course of the next month. It's just one final month here in the American Association. Check out dockhounds.com/tickets so that way you can enjoy Butter Than the Rest at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. Bottom of the order set up for the Chicago Dogs here in the home half of the fifth. We're halfway home at Impact Field. Chicago on top 1-0. And the first pitch from Connor Fisk is a backdoor curveball. Literally, it hits the back foot of Luke Mangieri. He'll reach to lead off the fifth. Back-to-back innings for the Dogs in which their leadoff batter reaches. And that's now 3 straight half innings in total. The first batter has reached base safely. Mangieri hit by a pitch after Eels singled in the fourth and scored on the error by Marcus Chu.
Yeah, Connor Fisk, not the start you wanted here to this frame. The good thing is, though, you have the bottom of the order coming up here with 8-9, followed by the top of Lujano, so not the most dangerous part of Chicago's lineup.
Fisk has thrown 63 pitches. His 64th misses high and inside to Cody Bohannic. It's 1-0. He popped out to second to lead off the third. I inexplicably miscounted 17 and 32 in the last inning for Fisk. So this is his 65th pitch. It's fouled back towards the first base side. Now 1-1 to the third baseman for Chicago.
Yeah, that's not as bad as my miscalculation on 55 total pitches earlier this season done.
Yeah, I think it was 35 and 20 to make matters worse, Sam.
It was.
1 ball and 1 strike. Bohannic late on the high fastball. Excellent pitch there from Fisk. He's now in front of Bohannic. It's 1-2. Cody batting .220 on the season. Not known for his bat, more so the glove at the hot corner for the Dogs. DockHounds in double play depth in the infield. 1-2 from Fisk. High fastball at the top of the zone. That's called strike 3. Third K of the night for Connor Fisk. Doesn't get too many strikeouts, and Bohannic will depart from the box with some words for Nick Webb. That's out number 1 here in the bottom of the fifth.
Really nice spot from Fisk. That's one where if you get the call, great. If you don't, that's up and in. You can maybe get a swing, or if they call that a ball, okay. We'll live to see another pitch, but Fisk will take the K.
First pitch now to Brennan Metzger. Popped up foul first base side. That'll get out of play. It's 0-1. Just the 37th strikeout for Connor Fisk, as he's pitched now 65 innings on the season. He's been an effective pitcher for the most part, has had a couple of tougher starts, but doesn't do it by way of the K. 0-1 to Metzger. Fisk comes home. Called strike at the top of the zone. Very similar spot to the one that rung up Bohannic. And Metzger with a bit of a head nod in the box. Didn't like that call as well. He's now down no balls and 2 strikes. Luke Mangieri still at first with 1 away in the home half of the fifth. Fisk is set now, comes home. And Metzger will spoil it off to the right side. Just playing defense at the box. Still 0-2.
Sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to just battle, foul off a few tough pitches until you can hopefully get one you like at the plate.
Strong aroma of popcorn right now at Impact Field, making me wish I could consume some kernels. Fisk is set, 0-2 once more. Breaking ball blocked by Hill, but it bounces off him and out towards the left side, down the third base line. It allows Mangieri to move up to second. No more double play possibility, and it's 1-2 to Metzger.
That's just a very tough bounce off this dirt. Hill did a good job of actually getting his body in front of that ball. It just kind of ricocheted off him in a weird direction.
Breaking ball bounced in that left-handed batter's box just in front of home plate. Certainly would have been an impressive block. Mangieri at second, 1 away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Metzger pops it up right side. Foul ground. Terry racing over towards the DockHounds dugout, but it'll once again find the seats about 5 or so rows deep. It remains 1-2. DockHounds housed in the first base dugout, while the Dogs, the home team, are in their third base dugout here at Impact Field. Chicago wearing their all-white uniforms, while the DockHounds got their navy blue tops and gray pants. Connor Fisk, as always, rocking the high socks. Still 1-2 with 1 away to Metzger. Fisk set, looks back to Mangieri. Now comes home. Fastball lined out to left. That's down for a base hit. Mangieri will be waved home. Woodcock will fire it home. Maiton cuts it off. It's 2-0 Chicago. Throw back into first is late. Metzger dives back in safely. A nice turn at first. It's 2-0 Chicago.
On that play, Woodcock made a very impressive throw to the plate. I would have liked to have maybe seen that go all the way through. I don't think the DockHounds would have been able to get the out of the plate, but it would have been closer than I originally thought when Woodcock had to go all the way toward the corner to grab that ball. Either way, it worked out okay for Lake Country in the fact that that play at first was pretty darn close, throwing it back behind the runner, but DockHounds more traffic to work around.
Jesus Lujano, Dogs leadoff batter, shows bunt, pulls back. It's a ball inside, and it's 1-0. That's the first run batted in of the night. An RBI single for Brennan Metzger brought home Luke Mangieri. Now Metzger at first with one away still. Lujano lines it sharply into the dugout of the DockHounds. And a clipboard came out of the dugout. Stay alert over there in the first base dugout. Either Mike Schwarn or Brady Keiss charting something for Lake Country. He did duck out of the way. Now 1-1 to Lujano. Check swing on the pitch in the dirt. We don't have an appeal to P.T. Nunez yet. Now it comes from Webb, but Nunez, given the three-man mechanics here from this American Association crew, on the inside of the diamond on the first base side, not really a good angle. Signals that Lujano didn't go. It's 2-1.
Yeah, that's impossible because you're appealing to third with a left-handed batter, but no umpire anywhere near third.
Nope. 2-1 to Lujano. Line sharply out to right center. Sensley retreating out towards the gap. He can't make the catch. It one hops off the wall. Metzger will be sent home. The throw home from Chu is late. It's now 3-0 Chicago.
Chu made that very close. That was a good job by Sensley out there in right to get it in a hurry after that bounced high off the tall wall in right. A good throw to Chu, who's not used to being the cutoff man starting at short. Made a great throw to the plate. Just the tag not quite in time.
It's an RBI double for Jesus Lujano. Now 3 of the 4 have reached here in this bottom of the 5th inning. Those leadoff base runners, they'll come back to bite you. Now Peyton Neal's at the plate for Chicago. Swings and misses at the first pitch. It's 0-1. Lujano has just continued to be a strong bat in this Dogs lineup. 22nd RBI of the season on his 10th double. 0-1 to Eels. Fastball misses inside. It's 1-1. Now some action in the DockHounds bullpen. Nobody warming just yet, but a couple of bodies are moving around. 1 run in the 4th and 2 here in the 5th for the Dogs. They lead 3-0. 1-1 home from Fisk, fouled off. He's ahead of Eels. It's 1-2.
Yeah, I find it interesting. I'm just looking at the stats on Eels and notice he only stands 5'7" tall, so definitely not very tall in stature up there, but holds his own at the plate.
Might be a short king in the eyes of these Dogs fans. 1 for 2 on the day. The 1-2 misses high and outside. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. He singled to lead off the 4th. It's a breaking ball from Fisk that he just punched the other way and moved up when he was running on the pitch to second and scored on the error by Marcus Chu. That was the first run of the ball game. 3 runs is the largest comeback from the DockHounds on the season. They've done so twice. We need to do so a 3rd time if they want to avoid the sweep tonight. Counts now full to Eels as the breaking ball misses away. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Ryan Lidge will bat next for Chicago. Lujano at second, 1 away in the bottom of the 5th. Payoff pitch from Fisk. Line back up the middle. 2 hops over the bag to Chu. He fires to first in time. There's the first assist for Marcus Chu as a shortstop in his professional career. There's 2 away, but moving up to 3rd is Lujano.
Yeah, that's an out at the DockHounds. They did another ball that was hit very hard off the bat of a Dogs hitter and right back where it came from. Scooted by Fisk on the mound, and with the shift, Chu placed perfectly back beyond the bag, made that play, and looked a lot better doing it than the first chance.
Now Ryan Lidge at the plate. He is 0 for 2 with a flyout and a ground out. Swings at the first pitch and chops it foul on the curve from Fisk. It's 0-1. Lidge has certainly delivered some damage to the DockHounds thus far in the series. 2 runs batted in on Tuesday, and then yesterday he added on 2 more. None yet tonight. You want to keep it that way. DockHounds shifting towards the pull side of the left-handed hitting backstop. Takes a called strike at the top of the zone. Fisk ahead. It's 0-2. You got to set down Lidge right here.
Sure, a fastball up. Don't be surprised if Fisk brings out the big-time breaker low. Kind of change the eye level here.
Got to be worried about Lujano at 3rd, too. 0-2. Breaking ball. Swung on and missed. Excellently called there by Sam. That's strike 3. The 4th K for Connor Fisk. It strands Jesus Lujano at 3rd as he sets down Lidge on strikes. Dogs add on 2 more. They now lead 3-0 as we're through 5. Lake Country, what's better than one baseball game? How about two baseball games? On the 31st of July, the Lake Country DockHounds are hosting a doubleheader against the Milwaukee Milkmen. First game at 4:05 p.m. Central Time, with game number 2 following about 30 minutes after the completion of game number 1. Those two contests will be 7 innings, so it'll be action-packed, and you get 2 games for the price of 1. So what place better to be to wrap up your July than Wisconsin Brewing Company Park? Check out DockHounds.com/tickets for more information.
What's up, DockHounds fans? Make sure you come out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park on Wednesday, August 2nd for Barkin' Brews, presented by Pagan-Koff Family Pet Cremation Services. You can get $2 hot dogs, $5 walk-off lagers from Lake Louis Brewing Company, and you can see 2023 All-Star Bat Dog Colt along with his brother Kovu. They are DockHound fan favorites in Lake Country, and for good reason. Go to DockHounds.com/tickets for more information today. Reliever on the mound for the Chicago Dogs in a 3-0 Chicago lead as we go to inning number 6. The DockHounds still sitting on just one singular hit in the ball game. That came off the bat of Curtis Terry. And now Andrew Edwards enters. 1-1 with a 4.97 ERA over 11 appearances, 2 starts, and just 12 2/3 innings pitched.
I will not pretend to know more baseball than Butch Hobson, but it seems like an interesting spot to bring in a southpaw against 2 righties, and 3 of the first 4 batters will be right-handed here in this frame.
First one Edwards will face will be Thomas Jones. Takes the first one for strike 1. Cole Aker, fantastic today for Chicago. Went 5 innings, only gave up 1 hit and no runs. That's in the air, left center. Over goes Rosa. Makes the catch for the first out.
Yeah, just off the end of the bat from Thomas Jones. He just missed it. Certainly nice to see a good swing from him there after he struck out in 5 straight at-bats. From yesterday's ball game into the first at-bat, was hit by a pitch in his last plate appearance. So a good swing there from Thomas Jones. You want to see him to build on that in his next at-bat so he can continue to swing the bat well going to Sioux Falls.
Marcus Chu up there now. 0 for 2, 2 ground outs to third. And that's a ground ball foul back behind the plate. No balls and 1 strike.
It's certainly going to be a tougher day at the plate if you're Marcus Chu, because you have to worry a little bit more about you're playing the field. You're playing a new position. That's something else that's on your mind. Of course, you want to try and wipe that all out when you're at the plate, but it's at least in the back of your mind a little bit.
Andrew Edwards has been good lately. No earned runs allowed in his last 4 appearances as he gets a swing and a miss on a ball up from Chu there. No balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, elevated fastball has kind of been a pitch that has haunted the Lake Country DockHounds on the season.
1-2 to Chu. Nobody on. 1 down here in the 6th. Off the inside corner. Good take from Chu. It's 1-2 now.
Yeah, that was a very close pitch, but a good eye from Chu. You know, he's got one of those better eyes on the team.
A 1-2 count. Starting at shortstop tonight. Normally, of course, the first baseman. That's in the air. Deep to left. Back goes Metzger to the edge of the track. Makes the catch coming in a couple of steps for the second out.
Yeah, that's 2 hittable pitches that the DockHounds have missed this inning. Jones off the end of the bat, and I think that one just got too far in on the label of Marcus Chu. Hit it high and deep out to left, but not deep enough.
And now the inning up to Steven Sensley with nobody on. Sensley also 0 for 2 today. Ground out to short and a pop-up back behind the plate to the catcher, Ryan Lidge. First pitch from Edwards. Swung on and missed. Strike 1 on a pitch low and away. Mentioned Edwards' success here lately. The last time he allowed an earned run was on July 7th against the Sioux Falls Canaries, which he pitched 2 1/3 innings. Off the outside, 1 ball and 1 strike in that outing for Edwards. 3 runs, all 3 were earned on 6 hits. He took the loss. Next one coming in the air on the infield. And that's out number 3 into the glove of Bohannock. That will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 for Edwards here in the top of the 6th. We head to the bottom half. It's still 3-0.
One of the best parts about taking in a DockHounds game at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park is the food from Butter Than the Rest and the 2 DockHound chefs, Tommy and Roberto. They do a tremendous job. I stick with the hot dog combo, a good old hot dog at a ballpark, as well as the tater tots. But Sam, what do you go with?
The pulled pork sandwich is the way to go, Dime. That you can't go wrong with Tommy and Roberto and Butter Than the Rest. So many good choices, but for me, it's the pulled pork sandwich every time.
There are so many more options. You've got fantastic pretzels. You've got tacos. The popcorn is splendid. But the best way for you to find out what your favorite food at the ballpark is to get out to a DockHounds game over the course of the next month. It's just one final month here in the American Association. Check out DockHounds.com/tickets so that way you can enjoy Butter Than the Rest at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. Who let the dogs out? There are going to be so many dogs at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park next weekend when the Lincoln Salt Dogs come to Oconomowoc and Lake Country for the first time this season. And I'm going to tell you this, the 3 games the DockHounds played against the Salt Dogs all the way back in June were thrilling contests, and you know that the next 3 are going to be just as good. 2 teams that are fighting for a playoff spot here in the American Association. We need your help, Lake Country. We need you to show up to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park to support the DockHounds in one of the biggest series of the season. Next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. 6:35 start on Friday, 6:05 first pitch on Saturday, and then a 1:35 afternoon game on Sunday. You got to be at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. Check out DockHounds.com/tickets for more information, and we'd love to see you out there.
Connor Fisk back for his 6th inning of work, trailing 3-0, and it'll be Josh Altman to lead it off. First pitch. Hangs high, ball 1. Altman today reached on an error by Marcus Chu his last time up. Also popped out to Curtis Terry over at first. Another breaking ball. This one does find the zone. Strike 1 as Casey Porter-Real warms up for the DockHounds in the bullpen. Fisk working quickly. There's another one in there. Popped up. Back beyond the plate. Foul. And that will land just in front of us and caught on the ricochet by a Dogs fan. It's a foul ball. Strike number 2. 1-2 now to Altman. Another pop up. Almost the same spot. Almost exactly the same spot.
Well, so the dude who caught the ricochet was actually right there and let it bounce, and it hopped all the way straight back. That would have been an impressive feat to get back-to-back pitches on foul balls.
Craziness. Another 1-2 in the dirt. Back to the screen. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Altman.
Yeah, it's a big spot for Fisk. It's been a good start for him, and you have a chance to make it a quality start right here. You've been good thus far. Retire the leadoff batter. That has been the difference for Fisk.
Fisk sitting at 91 pitches. And that one's in the air to center. Sends Jones back. The edge of the track makes the catch for the first out.
Yeah, well struck, but that's out number 1. An excellent job by Thomas Jones. Saw the ball was in the air and a little bit off to his right. Immediately opened the hips, sprinted straight back, and was able to track it down just in front of the warning track. An excellent job by the excellent defensive center fielder for the Lake Country DockHounds.
Now Matt Botcher will dig into the box. He's 0 for 2. 2 ground outs to Blake Taberry today. DockHounds offensively still with just 1 hit in the ball game. Breaking ball finds the zone from Fisk. Strike 1. Chicago 3 runs on 4 hits. Well, one in. Watcher thought about it but laid off. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. The DockHounds, after this one finishes up, will get on the bus and head to Sioux Falls, South Dakota for a 3-game series against the Canaries. Their breaking ball. Botcher swung over the top. Strike 2.
Overnight bus ride for the DockHounds. Actually played relatively well following those overnight rides.
Have another chance tomorrow against a team we're very familiar with, considering Sioux Falls was just an Oconomowoc previous series to this one. 1-2. Botcher on the ground, under the glove. A lunging Maiton and into left. So Botcher reaches, and Dylan Rosa comes up.
It's well struck, tough play for sure.
Maiton tried to go down and get it and just couldn't quite grab it. Dylan Rosa to the plate. He's 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout. Former Kansas City Monarch. In the air, foul, first base side, strike 1 from Fisk. Fisk inching closer to that 100 pitch mark. 97 pitches as we sit now.
It's correct math. Worth pointing out.
It's a shocker on my part.
Our part.
True. Just misses up. Called ball 1-1 now to Rosa.
Well, we should be able to count. That's the frustrating part. It's just addition.
Yeah. Exactly.
Continues to give us a hard time.
Indeed. We're consistent, Don. 1-1 the count. Off the inside that time. 2 balls and 1 strike to Rosa.
Yeah, it was a nice pitch there from Fisk. We've seen him throw that breaking ball that starts out of the zone and breaks back into it a couple of times tonight, and it's been a successful pitch from Fisk. Went back to it, but it missed just high.
Fisk from the far first base side of the rubber. Here comes the 2-1. In the air, back behind the plate, foul toward our direction, and that will land out of play. 2-2 the count.
I'd love to see a breaking ball here from Fisk. Maybe get a swing and miss on Rosa, or maybe you get him to roll over into a double play.
That would work too. 2-2. Runner takes off to second. That's a foul ball, so we'll have to do it again as Botcher will have to head back to first.
Yeah, Botcher was timing Fisk there pretty clearly. He was shuffling, go. Got lucky that Fisk didn't hear anything from any of his teammates, so that he could have stepped off and maybe gotten Botcher in a rundown and threw the ball back to first to pick him off.
Botcher second on the Dogs and stolen bases with 15. Now a throw over. Tagged by Terry, not in time. Nick Heath with 28 stolen bases. Leads the Dogs by a wide margin. Botcher sits in second with 15.
It's a lot of bags.
There he goes again. Takes off. Throw from Hill. Not in time. So that's stolen base 16 on the year for Botcher.
Yeah, he never had a chance. Hill never had a chance. Fisk might be using the same timing on every single pitch because Botcher was shuffling, and then he was go. I mean, when you do that, it is so easy to steal the base. And it's hard when you can only pick off 2 times in an at-bat. But if you're Fisk, you can hold your set. And then you don't even have to pick over them. Botcher can just put on the brakes, and then you pitch.
Vary the time to the plate makes the runner's life a lot more difficult. As that's fouled off from Rosa. Count now at 3-2. As Botcher on second with 1 down. Already a 3-0 Chicago lead in the bottom of inning number 6.
103 pitches thus far from Fisk. It might be his last batter no matter how the result is.
Here comes the delivery. Strike 3. Connor Fisk sets down Dylan Rosa, and that's the second out of the frame for Fisk.
Really wish the radar gun was working here at Impact Field today because that was a high heater. It was very firm from Fisk.
For Connor, that's strikeout number 5. Luke Mangieri comes up. And that will be an intentional walk to load the bases. As Mangieri will go to first and Cody Bohannick to the plate.
It's just first and second. Let's hope the bases don't get loaded here in the inning. But, yeah, I don't hate the decision here. We've seen some intentional walks go in favor of the DockHounds, and we've seen some also not work for Ken Huckabee. It worked yesterday. Now let's hope this one works again today.
Now, Dom, you just mentioned that might have been the last batter for Connor Fisk. Turns out that's not the case. That's just Paul Wagner, the DockHounds pitching coach, coming out to the mound to discuss things. If the DockHounds were going to make a change, it would have been the manager, Ken Huckabee. But instead, it's just Wags out to the mound to discuss things with his starter.
Yeah, this DockHounds coaching staff really trusts Fisk, one of the more experienced pitchers on this DockHounds team. So he's going to be one that you're going to show trust in. And he's been good thus far. Only a handful of hits for the Dogs tonight. They haven't hit Fisk all that hard. When they have hit him, made that gapper by Lujano. He's looming in the hole. But you really hope that he doesn't get another shot. And Bohanec, one of the weaker bats in this Dogs lineup. It's a guy you want to pitch to, especially as opposed to Luke Mangieri.
Exactly, as Bohanec sits at just a .219 average on the season. First pitch in the dirt. Nice block from Hill behind the plate.
Yeah, you just got to hope that the intentional walk doesn't add fuel to the fire of Cody Bohanec. Of course, you're going to want to get a hit or get on base every single time you come to the plate, but it might be an added edge for Bohanec.
Bohanec on the day 0 for 2. A pop out and a strikeout. Popped up. Back beyond first. Curtis Terry in the foul territory will make the catch. The intentional walk pays off for the DockHounds. Fisk gets out of it. That's a solid 6 innings for Fisk. We'll go to the 7th. Still 3-0 Chicago on the DockHounds broadcast network.
I know you all are itching to get back to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park to watch your DockHounds take the field again, but let's have some patience, Lake Country. The DockHounds have one more series before they return home for an 8-game, 7-day homestand, 5 games against the Milwaukee Milkmen, and then the final 3 next weekend against the Lincoln Salt Dogs. You have to get out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park because there's so much baseball and there's not that much more time left in the American Association season. So we'd love to see you out at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park starting on Monday all the way through Sunday. We've got 8 games in 7 days. What better place to spend your night or even your Sunday afternoon than at the ballpark?
What's up, DockHounds fans? Make sure you come out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park on Wednesday, August 2nd for Barkin' Brews, presented by Pagan Cough Family Pet Cremation Services. You can get $2 hot dogs, $5 walk-off lagers from Lake Louis Brewing Company, and you can see 2023 All-Star Bat Dog Colt along with his brother Kovu. They are DockHound fan favorites in Lake Country, and for good reason. Go to DockHounds.com/tickets for more information today.
Lake Country, what's better than one baseball game? How about 2 baseball games? On the 31st of July, the Lake Country DockHounds are hosting a doubleheader against the Milwaukee Milkmen. First game at 4:05 p.m. Central Time, with game number 2 following about 30 minutes after the completion of game number 1. Those 2 contests will be 7 innings, so it'll be action-packed, and you get 2 games for the price of 1. So what place better to be to wrap up your July than Wisconsin Brewing Company Park? Check out DockHounds.com/tickets for more information. Southpaw enters for the Dogs bullpen. Back-to-back Southpaws, in fact, after a 1-2-3 inning from Andrew Edwards. It'll be Brian Warzik, who misses with the first pitch low to Curtis Terry. It's 1-0. Terry has the only hit for the DockHounds through 6 innings as the Dogs lead Lake Country 3-0. Former DockHound on the mound for the Dogs right now. Terry fouls back the 1-0. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Hard to believe the DockHounds have just 1 hit. A couple of loud outs, including a couple in the 5th. And Brian Ray also lined out sharply in the 3rd. It just hasn't gone Lake Country's way here at Impact Field this week. 1-1 from Warzik. Terry drives it out to center. Rosa will come in. He makes the catch. Is now 1 away.
Now, Warzik is a tough matchup for anybody, and the fact that he pitched yesterday, you think, okay, this guy's on short rest. Maybe the DockHounds can kind of get to him, but he's done that a lot this year and has been very good in this kind of role. Warzik yesterday against the DockHounds, nothing to write home about if you're Lake Country offensively. No hits against Warzik and 2 strikeouts.
Scoreless in his last 3 appearances, and he's got a 2.97 ERA on the season. with 59 strikeouts in 33 and a third innings pitched. Now faces Dustin Woodcock, a left-on-left matchup, and he misses away with the first pitch. It's 1-0. Dogs shifting towards the right side against Dustin. 1-0 pitch misses inside. Now 1-1. Feel like you need a run here in the 7th if you're the DockHounds. It's only going to get tougher. Let's see Joe Cavallero, Brian Schlitter later in the ballgame out of the Dogs bullpen. The back end, very good for Chicago. 2-0 to Woodcock. Lined up the middle and past the leap of Josh Altman at shortstop. It's another hit for Dustin Woodcock. He continues to haunt the Dogs. He has a hit in every game he's played against Chicago. Now brings the tying run on deck for Lake Country, and Brian Ray to the plate with one away.
Yeah, that one not hit very hard at all from Woodcock, but found a hole. Sounded like he shattered his bat as well. The DockHounds will gladly take it, though, a base runner.
Same as you love to say, the bat goes out a hero. Ray has been having a good day at the plate. Worked a full count in his last plate appearance and was hit by a pitch. Got on base and also lined out sharply to the third baseman Cody Bohanek, who made a terrific diving grab. Now 1 ball and no strikes to Ray as he takes inside. Kevin Maiton will bat next for the DockHounds. 1-0 to Ray. Fastball blown right by him. Now 1-1. 8 outs to work with if you're the Lake Country DockHounds looking to avoid the sweep. Lake Country yet to be swept on the season. They've also won their last 7 series finales. Now Warzik will pick over to first. Woodcock already caught stealing today. Scampers back safely into the bag.
And this spot, I don't really think the DockHounds should be running here since they're down by 3 with a good spot to cash in at the plate.
I'd agree. Warzik set. Left on right matchup for the Dog southpaw. Fires the 1-1 home. Misses high. Now 2 balls and 1 strike. Dogs playing straight up against Ray, and that's pretty smart because he can spray the ball all across the yard. A lot of his pop out towards the pull side towards left field, but the righty can hit the ball the other way for sure. He's got a hit in 7 of the last 8 games and has been on base in 11 of the last 12. And there's another hit for Ray. Lines it sharply through the left side. That's a base hit for B. Ray, and it'll bring the tying run to the plate. Woodcock only able to move up to second as the ball is in the left. That's back-to-back base hits against Brian Warzik for the DockHounds.
Here's your chance to cash in if you're the Lake Country DockHounds. It's a huge spot for Kevin Maiton. Hasn't been great of yet with the bat, but a huge chance to come through here.
He crushed the ball in his last at-bat. A sharp line drive to Jesus Luhana, who almost overran it coming in. It was hit so hard. First pitch from Warzik, swing and a miss. Heater at the top of the zone, and it's 0-1 to Maiton. Still in his first week with the DockHounds. Signed on Friday coming out of the All-Star break. Former top prospect with the Atlanta Braves organization, also with the Angels organization. 0-1. Maiton takes low and away. That one looked like a breaking ball from Warzik. Don't see too many of those. It's now 1-1.
Yeah, Warzik likes the hard stuff on the fastball, and he's been good. He's been locating fantastically all season long.
Left on left matchup here. Maiton listed on Baseball Reference as a switch hitter, but is only hit from the left side thus far with Lake Country. Shoots the 1-1 foul. Pitch was on the outside corner. Beautiful spot from Warzik. He's rewarded, and it's now 1-2.
Despite the good spot from Warzik on the mound there, I also really like the approach from Maiton. Try to take the ball the other way, on the pitch, away. You don't need to try to do too much here.
Maiton struck out looking in his first at-bat today. He's 0 for 2. Woodcock at second, Ray at first with 1 away in the top of the 7th. DockHounds trailing by 3. Good lead by Maiton at the top of the zone. Evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good crowd on hand here at Impact Field. It's a couple thousand out here to support the Chicago Dogs. Infield for Chicago, shifted a little bit towards the right side of the infield. Warzik set, looks back to Woodcock, now comes home on the 2-2. Maiton fights it off left side and foul. It remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's a really good battle from Maiton at the plate. You saw him way off the tough high fastball, which has gotten a lot of hitters today. Laid off that one and then spoiled another tough pitch there.
Altman standing right behind Dustin Woodcock, the runner at second base for the Lake Country DockHounds. Left side wide open for Maiton. 2-2 again. Breaking ball breaks off the plate. The count's now full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Can't imagine that Woodcock and Ray will be put in motion with the open window with the left-handed batter Maitan at the plate. Full count, pitch upcoming. Warzik is set. He comes home. Maitan takes upstairs. That's ball 4, and it'll load the bases. Woodcock to third, Ray to second, and Maitan reaches for the first time today. It brings up Tyler Hill in a big spot, and Stu Clyburn will come out and talk to Brian Warzik on the mound.
What a great job from Kevin Maitan. That is the definition of not trying to do too much and trying to help your team win. He comes up here. He hasn't been great with the bat so far with his new ball club. He wants to come up with a big hit, hard hit somewhere, and maybe even a homer. But he knows he's facing a tough lefty. Worked the count full and drew a walk. That's a fantastic job.
And Clyburn will take the ball from Warzik. Chicago Dogs will go to the bullpen. So we'll go to a break on the DockHounds broadcast network. The bases are loaded with 1 out, and Tyler Hill will bat next for the DockHounds. Who let the dogs out? There are going to be so many dogs at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park next weekend when the Lincoln Salt Dogs come to Oconomowoc in Lake Country for the first time this season. And I'm going to tell you this, the 3 games the DockHounds played against the Salt Dogs all the way back in June were thrilling contests, and you know that the next 3 are going to be just as good. 2 teams that are fighting for a playoff spot here in the American Association. We need your help, Lake Country. We need you to show up to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park to support the DockHounds in one of the biggest series of the season. Next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. 6:35 start on Friday, 6:05 first pitch on Saturday, and then a 1:35 afternoon game on Sunday. You got to be at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. Check out DockHounds.com/tickets for more information, and we'd love to see you out there.
Hey, DockHounds fans. Come out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park this upcoming homestand and support your hounds, including on Thursday, August 3rd. It will be Thirsty Thursday with $5 walk-off lagers all night long. A $23 Thirsty Thursday ticket package gets you 1 dugout seat, 1 walk-off lager, and 1 walk-off lager bucket hat. It will also be Ladies' Night with $5 off margarita buckets, 10% off all merchandise in the fan store, and free popcorn as well. Make sure you go to DockHounds.com/tickets to get more information and purchase your tickets today.
Joe Cavallero is the new arm for the Chicago Dogs, his 34th appearance. He is the American Association leader in that category. He will face Tyler Hill with the bases loaded. First pitch breaks off the plate. It's 1-0. Dustin Woodcock at third, Brian Ray at second, and Kevin Maitan, who just worked an excellent walk to push Brian Warzik out of the ballgame. DockHounds trailing by 3, tying run at first. Go-ahead run at the plate, and Hill swings at a slider. It's 1-1. Lake Country batting .190 on the season and 58 at-bats with the bases loaded. The DockHounds do not have a grand slam on the season. Wouldn't it be a perfect time right here? Hill also does not have a home run. 1-1 home from Cavallero. Another breaking ball, another swing and a miss. Cavallero ahead of Hill now. It's 1-2.
Yeah, Cavallero is a very tough matchup for anybody with just a 3.27 ERA. And 58 strikeouts over 44 innings. Very tough reliever. The DockHounds in search of a big hit. They've been struggling to get that big hit of late.
One fan forecasting the future here at Impact Field. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Hill. Cavallero comes home. Breaking ball misses off the plate. Counts now even 2-2.
That's what you have to do if you're Hill at the plate. Cavallero's going to try to get a chase there. It's a tough slider and a good leave.
Might we see a fastball on the outside corner. Right on right matchup from Cavallero. He's got a 3.27 ERA on the season. 2-2 home. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. That's strike 3. 1 batter faced for Cavallero. 1 strikeout. The bases are still loaded. There's now 2 away. And that brings up Blake Taberry.
Comes down to this. I know it's just the 7th, but this is an absolute huge spot when it comes to deciding this outcome here.
Taberry batting just .214 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position on the season. Cavallero set, now comes home. First pitch, a called strike to Taberry. It's 0-1. Blake is 0 for 2 today, but lined out sharply to end the 5th. in his last at-bat. He's also got a walk in the third. Extended his on-base streak. 0-1. Backdoor breaking ball. Cavallero now ahead, no balls and 2 strikes on Blake Taberry.
That's really tough. 2 pitches spotted on the corner from Cavallero to get ahead, and now Taberry has to work from behind.
Cavallero a strike away from straining the bases loaded. Fastball misses outside. Lidge had to move over into the right-handed batter's box to make the catch. They stop behind the plate. It's now 1-2. Still Woodcock at third, Ray at second, and Maiton at first for the Lake Country DockHounds. Trailing by 3 in the top of the 7th with 2 away. 1-2, Taberry check swing, and it's a called strike 3 on the outside corner. Taberry tosses his bat in disgust. Back-to-back strikeouts for Joe Cavallero. Taberry seems very unhappy with that strike 3 called from Nick Webb. The DockHounds leave them loaded in the 7th. Best scoring opportunity is gone. The DockHounds will have just 6 outs to work with, still trailing by 3, while they stretch here at Impact Field. You're listening to the DockHounds Broadcast Network. Lake Country, what's better than 1 baseball game? How about 2 baseball games? On the 31st of July, the Lake Country DockHounds are hosting a doubleheader against the Milwaukee Milkmen. First game at 4:05 p.m. Central Time, with game number 2 following about 30 minutes after the completion of game number 1. Those 2 contests will be 7 innings, so it'll be action-packed, and you get 2 games for the price of 1. So what place better to be to wrap up your July than Wisconsin Brewing Company Park? Check out DockHounds.com/tickets for more information.
Hey DockHounds fans, come out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park this upcoming homestand and support your hounds, including on Thursday, August 3rd. It will be Thirsty Thursday with $5 walk-off lagers all night long. A $23 Thirsty Thursday ticket package gets you 1 dugout seat, 1 walk-off lager, and 1 walk-off lager bucket hat. It will also be Ladies' Night with $5 off margarita buckets, 10% off all merchandise in the fan store, and free popcorn as well. Make sure you go to DockHounds.com/tickets to get more information and purchase your tickets today.
Casey Porterreal takes over for the Lake Country DockHounds, and his task is to keep it a 3-run game. DockHounds just left the bases loaded in the top half of the 7th, loaded them against Brian Warzik, and Joe Cavallero came in and struck out Tyler Hill and Blake Taberry.
Yeah, that's a big spot. The DockHounds couldn't bring a run home in, and Cavallero has been as good as it gets the entire American Association. So that's nothing new for him. Casey Porterreal has been almost as good, though, with a 3-0 record and just a 3.10 ERA, especially since he got back from becoming a father. He's been incredible.
He's allowed just 1 earned run in his 4 appearances since he did return from helping his wife give birth to their first daughter, Cleo Keisha, back home in Oklahoma. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Chicago Dogs here in the bottom of the 7th. Brennan Metzger, who singled and scored the most recent run for the Dogs in the 5th, will lead it off. He'll be followed by Jesus Lujano and Peyton Eels. The DockHounds just have not done much with the bases loaded on the season. It's been one of their Achilles heels at the plate. Porterreal fires a first pitch strike to Metzger. It's 0-1. So the DockHounds are now 6 outs away from being swept in a complete series for the first time on the season. 0-1, a breaking ball. Misses off the plate. Good take by Metzger. It's 1-1.
Well, how this team started, that is a very interesting statistic, Dom. But still a little bit of time to come back.
1-1 misses high. Now 2 balls and 1 strike. We've seen that pitch at the top of the zone be a called strike, and Blake Taberry throws his hands up in frustration at second base. He was rung up on a pitch that appeared to miss outside, but it was a called strike 3 according to Nick Webb. Now 2-1, that misses inside. Hill and Porterreal freeze, and Porterreal says something on the mound, and for the DockHounds, you can't be liking the zone right now from Webb.
No, it's very frustrating. It's frustrating for me up here in the press box, so I can only imagine what it's like for them down there.
3-1 misses high. That's ball 4. The leadoff base runner for the Dogs. The 2 times they've gotten the leadoff runner on base tonight, those are the 2 innings they've scored.
Yeah, and Casey Porter Real clearly not happy on the mound. Snapped to that baseball on the throw that came back from Hill. We'll see how he can respond and bounce back.
Kane County Cougars defeated the Kansas City Monarchs earlier today, so if the DockHounds can't find a way to come back, they'll drop out of the playoff spot. Of course, there's still plenty of time in the American Association. Still over 35 games, depending on where you're at for each team. The DockHounds will have 37 to go following this contest here in Rosemont, Illinois. It's now 1 ball and no strikes to Lujano, but you certainly want to be on the inside and be able to control your own destiny, especially considering that the DockHounds don't play the Cougars the rest of the way.
Right, these tiebreakers could prove to be very important down the stretch. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago when the DockHounds ended up sweeping Kane County to take the season series, and the same thing can hold true. Luckily for Lake Country, despite not coming back here to Impact Field in the regular season, they come back to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park a couple of times.
1-1 now to Lujano, a beautiful changeup from Puerto Real. Gets in front, it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. DockHounds playing relatively straight up against Lujano, who doubled out into the right center field gap in his last at-bat. That brought home Brennan Metzger, who stands at first as we speak. 1-2 from Puerto Real, changeup just off the cap of the bat of Lujano. Lucky to stay alive, but he does. It remains 1-2.
And that's been Casey's go-to pitch with 2 strikes. Likes to drop down with that changeup. It's been very good all year. Speaking of very good, I have to give a lot of credit to Connor Fisk. Walks out with 3 earned runs according to the official scorer, but could easily be no earned runs because of the error from Chu.
Should be 2.
Either way.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Lujano bounces it foul down the right side. That run in the 4th inning should absolutely not be earned. There's no error in that 5th inning, so those 2 runs are going to be earned no matter how it's ruled, but there's no reason that Fisk should be charged with 3 earned runs, as I untie my tongue.
He had a very good outing today, though.
No doubt. 1-2 from Puerto Real comes home, and it's fouled back. Lujano putting up a big fight here in his 4th at-bat of the evening. He's 1 for 3.
The DockHounds pitching as a whole has become a lot more consistent over the last few weeks, which has been a huge kind of component to their continued success to kind of claw back closer to 500.
Don't want to fall further back to 30 and 33 if this result holds. Lujano goes after the breaking ball low and pops it up in the infield. Marcus Chu calling off to Barry. He makes the catch on the third base side of second. That's out number 1 here in the 7th.
It's a big first out, especially after Puerto Real was frustrated with home plate umpire Nick Webb on the walk to Metzger a moment ago. It's good that he came back and challenged Lujano with the middle of the order upcoming.
In both the innings in which the Dogs got their leadoff batter on, Connor Fisk retired the next batter before those runners came around to score. Hope this trend gets bucked, and the first pitch to Peyton Niels is popped up left side of the infield. Kevin Maiton coming in, makes the catch just inside the third base line. That's out number 2.
Nice job there from Puerto Real. 1 pitch and 1 out. You will never complain about that on the mound.
Now brings up Ryan Lidge. He's 0 for 3 on the day and struck out in his most recent at-bat. 5 strikeouts for Connor Fisk through 6 innings. That's well above his mark, around 5 strikeouts per 9.
And that's the thing, is Fisk normally doesn't really rely on the strikeouts, but it was there today when he needed them.
First pitch changeup, swing and a miss from Ryan Lidge. It's 0-1. Would love a 0 if you're Casey Puerto Real. And you can allow the heart of the order to attempt to come back starting in the top of the 8th. It'll be Thomas Jones, Marcus Chu, and Steven Sensley due up for Lake Country. 0-1. Driven out to left center. Woodcock and Jones retreating towards the warning track. They're looking up. It's gone. A 2-out opposite field blast for Ryan Lidge. He now has 2 runs batted in all 3 games this series. The Dogs might have just put this one out of reach. It's 5-0.
Yeah, Lake Country and Ryan Lidge, just a tough matchup, and Lidge has hit the DockHounds well all season long. A pitch Puerto Real would like to have back. Just got too much of the plate, and Lidge made him pay.
All 3 times the Dogs have got their leadoff batter on, they've scored in the frame. The other 4 innings, they've failed to score. Now brings up Josh Altman with 2 away in the bottom of the 7th. He takes the first pitch away. It's 1-0.
The leadoff runner, more times than not, it's going to come across the score. That's a big spot in the game of baseball.
This will now be the latest and largest comeback of the DockHounds season. They can find a way to come back and win this one. Now 1 ball and 1 strike as Altman fouls it back. Seen a couple of opposite field home runs for Chicago in this series. Matt Botcher hit one the other night as well. 1-1 from Puerto Real. Curveball in the dirt, taken low. It's now 2-1.
And it doesn't get any easier here after the homer from Lidge if you're KC Puerto Real. Josh Altman is an incredible hitter at the plate now. You need to be careful.
And second in the American Association with home runs at 17 after Max Murphy hit his 18th earlier today. Altman fouls off the 2-1. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Former Lincoln Salt Dog has been a welcome presence to the Chicago Dogs. Puerto Real a strike away from limiting the damage to 2 runs here in the 7th. He's set, comes home, and Altman drives this out to left field. Woodcock going back to the warning track. He leaps, and he can't make the grab. Altman racing in the second. He's got a 2-out double. That would have been an extremely impressive play from Woodcock. Looked like it hit off his glove. He knocked it down. Instead, it's a double, and that's back-to-back extra base hits for Chicago.
Yeah, the fact that Dustin could even get to that ball is very impressive because that ball was stung into the gap. Woodcock did a great job of ranging all the way back there, and that ball was hit so hard he just couldn't quite get his glove up in time to corral it.
Now brings up Matt Botcher. Puerto Real set too quickly as Botcher wasn't looking up at him from the left-handed batter's box, so time is called by home plate umpire Nick Webb. Saw that one clearly. DockHounds very upset with his strike zone here in the last 2 half innings in the 7th. Top half thought there were some bad strike calls that went against them, and then some pitches that didn't go Puerto Real's way in the leadoff walk to Brennan Metzger, who scored on the 2-out home run by Ryan Lidge. Now a good changeup to be in the at-bat to Botcher. It's 0-1. Puerto Real comes home, another changeup, another swing and a miss. It's 0-2.
Do you go 3 in a row here if you're Puerto Real, or do you change it up, maybe go with a high fastball?
Sometimes it's wise to not fix a working clock. DockHound shifted towards the right side, the pull side for Botcher. Chu standing behind second at short. Botcher lines it through the right side. That's down for a base hit. Altman will be waved around third. The throw from Sensley is past the cutoff man Terry, but late home. It's now 6-0 Chicago.
Some hard hit contact off of Puerto Real for the first time in a long time, and the offense here in Chicago is very talented. They definitely go in spurts. When they get hot, very contagious, and that's what we're seeing in this series.
Still nobody warming for the DockHounds. That's 3 straight base hits for Chicago. The home run by Lidge, the double by Altman, and now the single from Botcher, all with 2 away. Now Dylan Rosa, who struck out in his last 2 at-bats against Connor Fisk, he's 1 for 3. Takes the first pitch high. It's 1-0. You're listening to the DockHounds Broadcast Network on the Lake Country DockHounds YouTube page. Dominic Stern and Sam Reeves, your DockHounds broadcasting tandem. 1-0 from Puerto Real. This is high. It's 2-0. Puerto Real has now thrown 24 pitches on this outing. 25, 9 balls, and 16 strikes.
And that could prove to be very costly going into the series against Sioux Falls, and then the long series with the Milwaukee Milkmen right afterwards. Not an off day until a week from Monday for Lake Country.
Fastball catches the inside corner. It's now 2-1. Yeah, 13 straight days of games, and that's 14 games in that stretch as well. 2-1. This is inside. It's now 3 balls and 1 strike, and the next 2 off days will be travel days to and from Cleburne, Texas, as the DockHounds will play the Railroaders 6 straight times down in the great state of Texas. 3-1 to Rosa. Puerto Real set. He comes home, and Rosa grounds it through the left side. That's now 4 straight base hits for Chicago. Up to second moves Botcher. It's first and second with 2 away still. That brings up Luke Mangieri.
if you're Puerto Real, you just want to find a way to get that final out. It doesn't matter how it comes. Just find a way to get out of the inning and kind of shake this one off and learn going into your next appearance. But you got to buckle down and get that final out of the frame.
Mangieri didn't get a chance to swing the bat in his last 2 plate appearances. Was hit by a pitch on the first offering from Fisk in the 5th, as the first pitch is a called strike from Puerto Real, and he was intentionally walked before he could even see a pitch in his last plate appearance. So he's 0 for 1 with a ground out to the first baseman Curtis Terry, but has been on base twice and scored a run in the 5th. Fastball misses inside. Now 1-1 to Luke. DockHounds with a pull side shift against the left-handed hitting first baseman for Chicago. Marcus Chu standing behind the runner at second, Matt Botcher. Now a changeup from Puerto Real, swing and a miss from Mangieri. Casey ahead 1-2. Dogs lead 6-0 here in the bottom of the 7th. 1 run in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and then 3 here in the 7th. It's gotten away from Lake Country. 1-2 from Puerto Real. Swing and a miss on the changeup. That's strike 3. That'll retire the side after 4 straight knocks from Chicago. The Dogs put up 3. They lead by 6 as we go to the 8th on the DockHounds Broadcast Network. Lake Country, what's better than 1 baseball game? How about 2 baseball games? On the 31st of July, the Lake Country DockHounds are hosting a doubleheader against the Milwaukee Milkmen. First game at 4:05 p.m. Central Time, with game number 2 following about 30 minutes after the completion of game number 1. Those 2 contests will be 7 innings, so it'll be action-packed, and you get 2 games for the price of 1. So what place better to be to wrap up your July than Wisconsin Brewing Company Park? Check out DockHounds.com/tickets for more information. I know you all are itching to get back to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park to watch your DockHounds take the field again, but let's have some patience, Lake Country. The DockHounds have 1 more series before they return home for an 8-game, 7-day homestand, 5 games against the Milwaukee Milkmen, and then the final 3 next weekend against the Lincoln Salt Dogs. You have to get out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park because there's so much baseball and there's not that much more time left in the American Association season. So we'd love to see you out at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park starting on Monday all the way through Sunday. We've got 8 games in 7 days. What better place to spend your night or even your Sunday afternoon than at the ballpark? It's a large hill to climb here in the top of the 8th for the Lake Country DockHounds, trailing by 6. It's 6-0. The DockHounds have been shut out just 3 times on the series and are yet to be swept. You surely hope that it's not going to be a 4th shutout on this 2023 campaign, and you can find a way to come back against Joe Cavallero and the Chicago Dogs. Thomas Jones will lead it off here in the 8th. He's 0 for 2 with a hit by a pitch. He takes the first pitch breaking ball away. It's 1-0.
It's going to be easier said than done, Dom, although they will play until the last out is recorded. That's the beautiful thing about baseball.
1-0 to Jones. Fastball misses out the outside corner. Now 2-0.
You look at it in the 7th with the DockHounds. Bases loaded and just 1 out. Couldn't bring a run across. And then Chicago capitalized and answered with 3 of their own. That'll come back to kind of haunt you when you look back at this game later, unless the result changes.
No doubt. It's now 2-1. A fastball over the outside half. Here's the 2-1 from Cavallero. In on the hands of Jones, but foul down the right side. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes to the DockHounds center fielder. And all 3 of those runs in that last half inning for Chicago scored with 2 away. There's a leadoff walk to Brennan Metzger. There were a couple of pitches that Casey Puerto Real and Tyler Hill thought should have been called strikes. They weren't. And then with 2 outs, the Dogs exploded. 2-2 to Jones, runs inside, and that got him for the 2nd time today. He's just been a ball magnet for the DockHounds, and now he's bending over at the plate, clearly in some discomfort. That's the 9th time that Jones has been hit by a pitch this season.
Yeah, Interesting. It felt like it was Chu for the longest time, getting hit by all the pitches. He had such a big lead on the ball club in that category, and Thomas Jones has been the one lately.
Speaking of Marcus Chu, still leads the DockHounds with 11 hit by pitches, and he's 0 for 3 tonight. Chu had a base hit in each of the first 2 contests. You'd love to make it 3 for 3 with a knock right here in the 8th. It might be his last chance. Jones now leads from first, no outs in the top of the 8th. DockHounds trailing 6-0. They're out hit 9-3 in the contest. Chu grounds it sharply to short. High hop to Altman on the second for 1. Eels to first. And that's a double play. Thomas Jones with a firm slide in at second. He helps Eels up. It's a smooth double play turned up the middle by Chicago. The hit by pitch is immediately erased. There's now 2 away and Chu's 0 for 4.
Yeah, that's a very impressive double play from the Dogs. Took a high hop up on Altman and a quick turn. The other thing that was very impressive on that play was the strike from Eels, the first.
Now brings up Steven Sensley with the bases empty and 2 away. Takes the first pitch low, and it's ball 1. Sensley is still yet to reach base in this series against the Dogs. He's the reigning hitter of the week in the American Association following his 3 home runs in the 2 games he played against the Sioux Falls Canaries. He also walked 3 times on Sunday and doubled on Saturday against the Canaries. After tonight's contest, Lake Country will travel out to South Dakota to take on Sioux Falls once again.
The first series against the Canaries went well for the DockHounds. Winning series, they'll hope to do it again this weekend.
2 balls and 1 strike now to Sensley. Cavallero winds with the Dogs shifted towards the right side. A big swing, but a foul straight back from Sensley. It's 2-2. The DockHounds had won 5 straight series entering this set against the Dogs. Of course, lost the first 2, so the series has been decided, but you were looking to salvage the series and avoid the sweep today. Chicago just 4 outs away from the sweep. Pitch misses high. Scoreboard reads 2 balls and 2 strikes now. So it appears my count marking was off. 2-2 with 2 away. Sensley drives it well down the left field line, but it'll hook foul. It remains 2-2. We've seen plenty of opposite field pop from Sensley, but the Dogs have been shifting towards the pull side, out towards right to the left-handed hitting Sensley the entire series, and it's worked. Bounced out into the shift to the shortstop Altman in his first at-bat. 2-2 once again from Cavallero. Sensley takes away. No, it is ball 4. Nope, it's not. Sensley thought it was ball 3. Sensley thought it was ball 4. P.T. Nunez now moves inside the diamond. What is going on here at Impact Field? Nobody knows the count, so I feel less bad.
Yeah, that's just a bizarre situation. I thought it was ball 4, but I don't know.
So did P.T. Nunez and Steven Sensley. Now the count's full. 3-2 offering from Cavallero. Breaking ball, called strike 3. Broke back over the plate. That's the first time Sensley has struck out tonight, and the 3rd K for Cavallero in an inning and 2/3. The Dogs will look to extend their lead for the final time tonight. It's 6-0 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. One of the best parts about taking in a DockHounds game at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park is the food from Butter Than the Rest and the 2 DockHound chefs, Tommy and Roberto. They do a tremendous job. I stick with the hot dog combo, a good old hot dog at a ballpark, as well as the tater tots. But Sam, what do you go with?
The pulled pork sandwich is the way to go, Dime. That you can't go wrong with Tommy and Roberto and Butter Than the Rest. So many good choices, but for me, it's the pulled pork sandwich every time.
There are so many more options. You've got fantastic pretzels. You've got tacos. The popcorn is splendid. But the best way for you to find out what your favorite food at the ballpark is to get out to a DockHounds game over the course of the next month. It's just one final month here in the American Association. Check out DockHounds.com/tickets so that way you can enjoy Butter Than the Rest at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. Who let the dogs out? There are going to be so many dogs at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park next weekend when the Lincoln Salt Dogs come to Oconomowoc in Lake Country for the first time this season. And I'm going to tell you this, the 3 games the DockHounds played against the Salt Dogs all the way back in June were thrilling contests, and you know that the next 3 are going to be just as good. 2 teams that are fighting for a playoff spot here in the American Association. We need your help, Lake Country. We need you to show up to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park to support the DockHounds in one of the biggest series of the season. Next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. 6:35 start on Friday, 6:05 first pitch on Saturday, and then a 1:35 afternoon game on Sunday. You got to be at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. Check out dockhounds.com/tickets for more information, and we'd love to see you out there. Matt Mullenbach enters for the first time this series for the Lake Country DockHounds, and he'll face Cody Bohannick, 8-9-1 in the Dogs order. Bohannick rounds the first pitch towards the left side. Nice play by Kevin Maiton as he ranges to his left. Makes the throw on the run. Bohannick is retired. 1 pitch and 1 out for Matt Mullenbach, who's been great of late.
He really has. He's somebody the DockHounds have been able to trust all season long, and of late it's been the same thing. When you say Matt Mullenbach in Impact Field, the one thing I think of is Matt Mullenbach, the magician. Last time he was here in the last series, one of the best plays I've ever seen.
He went behind the back to catch a line drive to end the inning. Mullenbach, the magician, that's how I coined it. Exactly, Sam. And his first pitch to Brennan Metzger is a called strike. Mullenbach's ahead, 0-1. Of course, the DockHounds are trailing by 6, so if you're Mullenbach, just looking to get some work in, and that pitch runs inside, hits Metzger on the hand. And that's what you see from a batter when they actually get hit on the hand. He drops the bat right away and goes down in pain. So there's not going to be any argument from the DockHounds as Metzger is down. He's hit by the pitch, and he'll be aboard at first with 1 down. He's still down in front of home plate. He's back up, but is being attended to by the athletic trainer, Austin Casper.
Yeah, that's tough. You can tell Metzger reeling in pain right away. That reaction, you never want to see anybody get hurt, especially this late in the game.
It's the 3rd straight time Metzger has reached. It'll flip the lineup back over for Chicago. Jesus Lujano will bat next for the Dogs. Metzger still in the home plate circle. And Matt Mullenbach, we talked about how good he's been. A 3.42 ERA in 22 appearances across 21 innings for the DockHounds, 13 strikeouts and just 7 walks. He hasn't allowed an earned run in his last 9 appearances. It's been a high leverage arm, and there hasn't really been any spot high leverage situation thus far in the series. DockHounds dropped the opener to the Dogs 7-2. Chicago won last night 7-3 and now leads 6-0.
And sometimes you're going to have those series, especially with the familiarity between these 2 ball clubs. See each other a lot. Still going to see each other plenty more in Oconomowoc, with still 7 games to be played against these 2 ball clubs after today. But sometimes you just have a series and it snowballs on you a little bit like it has this week.
First pitch strike to Jesus Lujano. It's 0-1 with 1 away. Right on left matchup for the right-handed pitcher Matt Mullenbach. 0-1 misses inside. It brushes Lujano off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Last time the DockHounds were shut out, that was against the Fargo-Moorhead Redhawks on June 8th. So it's been over a month and a half since the last time the DockHounds failed to score in a contest. That was their 3rd time being shut out on the season as Lujano chops the 1-1 foul down the first base side. It's 1-2. The DockHounds offense has been really good ever since that moment. Facing Kevin McGovern, of course, an American Association staple, but today you're facing a right-hander, Cole Aker, making his 2nd start in the American Association, maybe some unfamiliarity with him. 1-2 Mullenbach ahead of Lujano. Pitch home, misses high and away. That's a pitch that the Dogs have gotten to be a called strike tonight. Doesn't go Mullenbach's way, and the count's now even 2-2.
You could tell Hill tried to frame that one and present it well for the home plate umpire, Nick Webb, to no avail.
2-2 with 1 away. Mullenbach comes home. That's on the inside corner, called strike 3. Excellent pitch from Mullenbach. A great response after the hit by pitch. He gets the strikeout. There's now 2 away in the 8th.
Doesn't get the call a moment ago, goes back to the other corner, and there you go.
Sometimes it's all about what the home plate umpire Nick Webb is looking at. First pitch to Peyton Eels, and there for a called strike. It's 0-1, and that's what Mullenbach does. One of the best strike throwers on this DockHounds team. Mentioned just the 7 walks. He fills up the strike zone. Did issue a walk on Sunday against the Sioux Falls Canaries, though. Now 1 ball and 1 strike. Mullenbach misses away.
Yeah, and Matt Mullenbach, the fact that he hasn't allowed a run in 9 appearances, and normally a high leverage guy too. It's when it matters the most when Matt Mullenbach is on the mound, generally speaking, and he's been as good as it gets.
1-1 to Eels. Catches the outside corner. Beautifully placed fastball from Mullenbach. He's now a strike away from his 10th straight outing without an earned run. DockHounds with a bit of a pull side shift against the left-handed hitting Eels. 1-2 home for Mullenbach. Misses away. Counts even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. DockHounds center fielder Thomas Jones shaded a little bit towards the left center field gap, though. Eels with a single in the 4th that was hit out towards left. 2-2 from Mullenbach. Called strike 3 at the top of the zone. Back-to-back looking strikeouts for Matt Mullenbach, and he pitches a scoreless bottom of the 8th. His 14th and 15th strikeouts on the season. Last chance for the Lake Country DockHounds as they look to avoid the shutout and also look to avoid being swept. They're looking for 6 in the 9th.
Hey DockHounds fans, come out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park this upcoming homestand and support your hounds, including on Thursday, August 3rd. It will be Thirsty Thursday with $5 walk-off lagers all night long. A $23 Thirsty Thursday ticket package gets you 1 dugout seat, 1 walk-off lager, and 1 walk-off lager bucket hat. It will also be Ladies' Night with $5 off margarita buckets, 10% off all merchandise in the fan store, and free popcorn as well. Make sure you go to dockhounds.com/tickets to get more information and purchase your tickets today.
One of the best parts about taking in a DockHounds game at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park is the food from Butter Than the Rest and the 2 DockHound chefs, Tommy and Roberto. They do a tremendous job. I stick with the hot dog combo, a good old hot dog at a ballpark, as well as the tater tots. But Sam, what do you go with?
The pulled pork sandwich is the way to go, Dime. That you can't go wrong with Tommy and Roberto and Butter Than the Rest. So many good choices, but for me, it's the pulled pork sandwich every time.
There are so many more options. You've got fantastic pretzels. You've got tacos. The popcorn is splendid. But the best way for you to find out what your favorite food at the ballpark is to get out to a DockHounds game over the course of the next month. It's just one final month here in the American Association. Check out dockhounds.com/tickets so that way you can enjoy Butter Than the Rest at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park.
What's up, DockHounds fans? Make sure you come out to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park on Wednesday, August 2nd for Barkin' Brews, presented by Pagankoff Family Pet Cremation Services. You can get $2 hot dogs, $5 walk-off lagers from Lake Louis Brewing Company, and you can see 2023 All-Star Bat Dog Colt along with his brother Kovu. They are DockHound fan favorites in Lake Country, and for good reason. Go to dockhounds.com/tickets for more information today.
Osiris Herman will look to finish off the sweep for the Chicago Dogs. His first pitch misses inside to Curtis Terry as he's brushed off the plate. It's 1-0. Terry has one of the 3 hits for the DockHounds tonight. He's 1 for 3 and has hit the ball well. One of the few names we can say that for the DockHounds on the evening. They trail 6-0 here in the top of the 9th, and now Herman lobs in a breaking ball back over the inside corner. It's 1-1. Pitching out of the stretch with nobody on. Now a fastball on the inside corner. He's ahead of Terry. It's 1-2. Just hasn't been the DockHounds' night. Only 3 hits. Also committed 2 errors, one of which gave the Dogs the lead 1-0 back in the 4th. And Chicago tacked on 2 in the 5th and 3 in the 7th. Herman comes home 1-2. Ground ball to short. Altman gets it on the 2-hop. Fires on to first. There's one away.
Yeah, Herman is an interesting one because he hasn't pitched since the last time the DockHounds were here, July 16th. Pitched back-to-back against the DockHounds the 14th and the 16th and was good, not allowing a run in either appearance, but hasn't pitched since then.
Pretty wicked arm that the Dogs are hoping can help out their bullpen, especially towards the front half. That's where their weaknesses has been, because the back end of this bullpen is incredibly solid. We saw Jake Newberry, major league reliever with the Royals for 4 years. He came in earlier in the series. We saw Joe Cavallero tonight. He was excellent in inning and 2/3. As it's now 2 balls and no strikes to Woodcock. We've also seen Brian Schlitter. He came in and got the final outs on Tuesday. So a lot of good arms. Jonathan Cheshire as well for Chicago. If Herman could join that group, this Dogs bullpen can become even more dangerous. 3 balls and no strikes to Woodcock. He's 1 for 3 tonight with a single, a strikeout on a pitch clock violation, and a fielder's choice. 3-0 to Dustin. Misses away. That's ball 4. Base runner here with 1 away in the 9th.
You like to see the Hounds continuing to fight through the very last out. Good plate appearance from Woodcock there to draw the walk.
So Woodcock reaches base twice. He's just haunted the Dogs. Had that 3 home run game back on the 28th in game 2 of the 7-inning doubleheader. Those are his only 3 home runs on the season. Then also had an extra base hit in both of his contests against the Dogs in the final series of the first half of the season. Now no balls and 1 strike to Brian Ray, and he's had a terrific night at the plate as well. Hit the ball hard twice and was hit by a pitch back in the 5th. He's reached base twice. Grounds the 0-1 foul. Now on a 0-2 hole after he singled in the 7th. It was back-to-back base hits against Brian Warzik. Then Kevin Maiton, who awaits on deck, drew a terrific walk that loaded the bases, put the tying run on base in the form of Maiton, and brought the tying run, or the go-ahead run, to the plate. But then Tyler Hill and Blake DeBerry struck out to end the 7th. 0-2 from Herman. Ray grounds it to the left side. Altman will have to go into the hole, and he has no play. Woodcock got to second quickly, so Altman couldn't go the short way. That'll likely be a base hit for Ray. Another multi-hit game for him. He's on base for the 3rd time tonight.
Brian Ray just does everything well. You've seen it there. Just goes to battle. Doesn't need to hit the ball overly hard, but plays well and beat it out. You like the hustle as well.
It is a single for Ray. Now brings up Kevin Maiton. 1 away. You've got 2 straight base runners. Let's make it 3 if you're the DockHounds. He takes the first pitch away from Herman. It's 1-0. Still no action in the Dogs bullpen, so it's all Herman right now. Maiton is 0 for 2, but did walk in his most recent plate appearance, as we mentioned. Now 2 balls and no strikes. Herman misses low. That'll bring out Stu Clyburn to come out and talk to Herman, and now all of a sudden Brian Schlitter will begin to throw down the line in the Dogs bullpen. Of course, a 6-run lead, so the tying run still isn't even in the hole yet, but might as well get him warm in case that tying run all of a sudden gets to be in the hole and potentially on deck.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Tom. Those 3 runs the Dogs added on in the 7th right now are proving to be big in this ball game.
All 3 were scored with 2 outs. It was the leadoff walk to Brennan Metzger when Casey Porterreal thought a couple of pitches that missed, according to Nick Webb, should have been strikes. A 2-out home run from Lidge, as well as Josh Altman, who doubled and scored on Matt Botcher's single. That was how the Dogs scored those 3. Otherwise, the tying run would be at the plate right now. This is Maiton's first road series with Lake Country. Signed with the DockHounds on Friday, just about a week ago. Now takes a called strike. Whatever Clyburn said, it worked for Herman. Evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Still just 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Dustin Woodcock at second and Brian Ray at first. 1-1 from Herman, misses outside. Falls back up behind, it's 2-1.
Just continue to go to work. For the DockHounds hitters, make Herman throw you strikes.
Dog shifting towards the pulse side of the left-handed hitting Maiton. Now 3-1. Herman misses away. Oh, and that was ball 4. All right. A couple of times we've had the scoreboard completely wrong here at Impact Field. That's my apologies. 2nd straight walk for Kevin Maiton. That's now 3 straight base runners allowed by Osiris Herman, and that brings up Tyler Hill with the bases loaded once again.
Yeah, this is another shot for Hill to come through. A little bit of a bigger deficit, but still a hit here makes things semi-interesting.
Tying run is now in the hole. If Hill can reach, it'll be on deck. Hill Hill takes a first pitch slider in there for a called strike. It's 0-1. Now Herman fires 0-1, also a called strike. Quickly ahead of Hill, it's 0-2. Herman with a 3.86 ERA in his limited action with Chicago. Formerly with the Minnesota Twins, including earlier this year at AA Wichita. Hill blasts this out to left. That's the first grand slam in the DockHounds season. It's the first home run for Tyler Hill. Almost sent it out to the 290 here at Impact Field. The DockHounds won't be shut out tonight. Tyler Hill crushed that ball to left. It's now 6-4. The tying run is on deck.
Don't look now. Things are all of a sudden very interesting at Impact Field. Tyler Hill had a chance for a grand slam his last time up. Didn't like a call to strike 3. This time, no doubt about it, the DockHounds are right back in it.
Herman will be removed from the ballgame as Stu Clyburn takes the ball from him. It'll be Brian Schlitter to enter for the Chicago Dogs, and all of a sudden is what? A safe situation. It's 6-4. DockHounds won't go down quietly. It's okay to admit it. We know the DockHounds are great on the field, but one of the most entertaining parts about going to a DockHounds game is when you see either Colt or Kovu take the field to retrieve your favorite DockHounds bat. Well, have a chance to get your own Colt collectible. There's a Colt bobblehead giveaway on August 26th against the Milwaukee Milkmen. You cannot miss that game. It happens to be the final Saturday home game for the DockHounds at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. The first 2,000 fans that get through the gates at the WBC will get a Colt bobblehead. You have to be there because you got to have this bobblehead featuring one of the most prominent things in DockHounds baseball. It's a Colt bobblehead, August 26th against the Milwaukee Milkmen, going to the first 2,000 fans. Go ahead and get your tickets right now at dockhounds.com/tickets. Who let the dogs out? There are going to be so many dogs at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park next weekend when the Lincoln Salt Dogs come to Oconomowoc in Lake Country for the first time this season. And I'm going to tell you this, the 3 games the DockHounds played against the Salt Dogs all the way back in June were thrilling contests, and you know that the next 3 are going to be just as good. 2 teams that are fighting for a playoff spot here in the American Association. We need your help, Lake Country. We need you to show up to Wisconsin Brewing Company Park to support the DockHounds in one of the biggest series of the season. Next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. 6:35 start on Friday, 6:05 first pitch on Saturday, and then a 1:35 afternoon game on Sunday. You got to be at Wisconsin Brewing Company Park. Check out dockhounds.com/tickets for more information, and we'd love to see you out there. Down by 6, Tyler Hill makes it a 2-run game with the first grand slam on his first home run of the season for the Lake Country DockHounds. It's now 6-4, and Blake Taberry will bat to face Brian Schlitter, the closer for the Chicago Dogs. He's got 10 saves on the season, had 7 last year for Chicago. But the DockHounds have scored runs a couple of times against Schlitter. First pitch misses low to Taberry. It's 1-0. Blake is 0 for 3 with the walk in the 3rd. That's the only time he's reached base today. Schlitter did not allow a run 2 nights ago on Tuesday. Guess that would be 2 days ago because that was an 11:30 start time here at Impact Field. Now 1 ball and 1 strike to Taberry.
4 of the 11 earned runs on the season for Brian Schlitter against the Lake Country offense.
1-1 on its way home, misses low. It's now 2 balls and 1 strike. If Taberry can get on base, Thomas Jones will come to the plate as the game's tying run. Steven Sensley was retired to begin the frame. Excuse me, that was Curtis Terry. Ever since then, 4 straight have reached for the DockHounds. Now 3 balls and 1 strike to Taberry. Schlitter misses inside. He had to get warm very quickly, so he may not be all the way loose. Schlitter is set. 3-1 to Blake. Grounded fair down the first base line past the dive of Mangieri. It'll be extra bases for Taberry as he races to second. The throw in the second is cut off. It's a 2-bagger for Taberry. He leads the DockHounds with doubles, and that brings a tying run to the plate in the form of Thomas Jones.
Don't look now. The DockHounds are in business, coming back from the dead. Down 6-0. with 3 outs to go and the tying run at the plate.
Who would have thought? DockHounds down by 6 with 1 out and nobody on here in the 9th inning. They've now brought the tying run to the plate, and this is shades of what we saw last Saturday here at Impact Field. DockHounds down by 5 with 2 outs in the 8th and nobody on. Brought the go-ahead run to the plate in the form of Thomas Jones when Blake Taberry reached as the tying run. Now Jones, the tying run. He takes the first pitch low. It's ball 1. Taberry's 18th double on the season. It's the front runner for the DockHounds in that category. Jones has been hit by a pitch twice tonight. He's 0 for 2 otherwise. Schlitter's 1-0, misses low and away. Hitters count now for Jones, 2 balls and no strikes. Jones was 0 for 4 with the golden sombrero yesterday. Struck out in all 4 of his at-bats. Taberry at second with 1 away in the top of the 9th. 4 already home for the DockHounds. Home comes Schlitter. Jones takes over the middle of the plate. Called strike. It's now 2-1.
That's okay if you're Jones. Schlitter hasn't been able to find the zone. You want to live to where you're going to make him throw one over the plate, and then you can let it rip.
Schlitter comes set, first base side of the rubber. Jones grounds it to short. Altman charges. Taberry moves up to third. The throw to first is in time. The DockHounds are now down to their final out. It'll be up to Marcus Chu to keep this game going.
Well, if you could tell me the DockHounds, after trailing 6-0 with 2 outs to go, would have 2 outs, Chu at the plate as the tying run, I would take that 100 times out of 100.
Chu is 0 for 4 tonight as the DockHounds shortstop. Blake Taberry at third, 2 away, and Chu's the tying run. First pitch home from Schlitter, a called strike at the knees. It's 0-1. Chu is the active runs batted in leader on this DockHounds team. He's brought home 34 runs on the season. Base hit would make it 35. 0-1 from Schlitter. Fouled off right side. It's now 0-2, and the DockHounds are down to their final strike. Looking to avoid the sweep, as the DockHounds have not been swept throughout this 2023 season. Dogs fans that have remained are providing some support. Schlitter set his 0-2. Misses away. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes. If Chu can reach, it'll be Steven Sensley to bat next for Lake Country. 1-2. Schlitter fires. Low and away. Not a bad spot, but a good take on the fastball from Chu. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. 4 already home for the DockHounds here in the top of the 9th. It's 6-4. Chu the tying run at the plate with Taberry at third. 2-2 from Schlitter. Ground ball right side. Eels is over. He has it. The throw to the first in time. And the DockHounds are swept for the first time in 2023.
That's going to happen. You know, you don't want it to happen if you're the DockHounds. It's going to be very hard to play a 100-game season and not be swept once. That's just tough. That's not going to happen. So to have that happen here, not the best time to do it, of course. The DockHounds were riding a lot of momentum coming into this series. But 2 teams that are so familiar with each other, the Dogs just outplayed Lake Country in this series. You shake this series off, you get on the bus, you go to Sioux Falls, and you see what you can do against the Canaries.
Final score, Chicago Dogs 6, Lake Country DockHounds 4. After the DockHounds had won 5 straight series, they're swept for the first time on the season, fall to 30-33, while the Dogs improved to 34-31. And now the DockHounds, for the first time since they swept the Kane County Cougars, are out of a playoff spot in the American Association East standings. Of course, you still have 37 games to go if you're the DockHounds, but that's not a spot you want to be in.
No, it's not, but it's not the end of the world either. You still have games to go against Chicago, and that's the biggest difference between this situation and Kane County, how big that series was a couple of weeks ago in Oconomowoc, was now you have the ability to play Chicago still 7 more times to control your own destiny in terms of the series itself and, of course, the standings as a whole coming up.
It was a good start turned in tonight by Connor Fisk. It currently sits at 6 innings and 3 earned runs. I'm going to go on a limb and say that's wrong. It should be 6 innings and 2 earned runs. He struck out 5 while allowing 5 hits. Connor Fisk has turned in back-to-back good starts.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Dom. And with the way Connor started, it was not as good as he had hoped on the season. But lately, he has really pitched well. You can see flashes as to why he spent so much time at the AAA level in the Blue Jays organization. So Connor Fisk definitely has been pitching better lately, and look to continue to see him grow on the mound.
A couple of bats that we want to highlight tonight for the Lake Country DockHounds. We're going to start, of course, with Tyler Hill, the man who made this a game, hit a grand slam, the first of the season for the Lake Country DockHounds, was also the first home run with the Lake Country DockHounds for Tyler Hill. He also walked in the third. Hill has just continued to swing the bat well for Lake Country.
I can't say enough about what Tyler Hill is doing. He comes in here as the backup catcher. That was kind of a position that was a revolving door toward the beginning of the season. A lot of people kind of filling that role behind Jack Scrotians. Tyler Hill has not only cemented himself in that position, but he's going to continue to get more playing time because not only has he been fantastic behind the plate, calling the game in terms of pitches, but his bat has really gotten hot. And that's hard to do when you are a backup catcher and you're playing once or twice a week. It's very difficult to get hot with the stick, but Tyler Hill has done that, and as a result, he's been earning himself more playing time, and after a grand slam tonight, don't be surprised if we continue to see Hill get even more time out there on the field.
Hill has been on base in 7 of his last 8 starts, and in 6 of those, he's been on base multiple times with that home run here in the top of the 9th. You're listening to the DockHounds Broadcast Network postgame show. Dominic Stern and Sam Reeves. A couple of other offensive performances you want to shout out. Dustin Woodcock, he reached base twice. Didn't start in the first 2 games of the series. Got the nod today. He singled and walked. Brian Ray also had 2 hits and was hit by a pitch. He reached base 3 times tonight. Blake Taberry with a double there in the 9th to bring the tying run to the plate. He reached base twice. And Thomas Jones was hit by 2 pitches as well.
Yeah, the bottom of the order really stands out to me, Dom. As we mentioned, Brian Ray was really good. Tyler Hill, of course, and Dustin Woodcock for the bottom of the DockHounds order gives the DockHounds a deep lineup. We've talked about it a lot at home of late, too. So to have that kind of deep lineup where you can kind of count on anybody on any given day in any situation is definitely a huge plus for Ken Huckabee and company.
No doubt about it. And then Matt Mullenbach pitched his 10th straight outing without allowing an earned run. He's simply been phenomenal out of the DockHounds bullpen.
Yeah, there's really no better way to put it than that, Dom. Matt Mullenbach is one of the unsung heroes of this team, I will say. You know, a lot of those bullpen guys don't get enough credit for what they're doing. I think Ogden DeVoit kind of falls in that category, and Matt Mullenbach definitely does as well. He has been so good really all season long since he joined this ball club, and definitely somebody that Lake Country can count on whenever they need it.
So we got a question for our post-game show. It comes from Brooks. He asks, if you were put in charge of creating a brand new global holiday, what would you name it and how would it be celebrated? What time of the year would it be held? And opening day does not count. And they'll have a DockHounds related question afterwards.
Ooh, opening day doesn't count. Darn it. Okay, so if I can't do that, because that's where I was going to, I would make Super Bowl Sunday a holiday, and it would be obviously on Super Bowl Sunday because it's always impossible to go to work the next day. So if you want to make it that Monday after, then that's okay too, because going to work after the Super Bowl, I mean, hey, my team has been in the Super Bowl a lot lately, the Kansas City Chiefs, so it's been particularly hard for me. But I think, honestly, every fan of the NFL would like a holiday on the day after the Super Bowl, because that's always tough to get up and go to school or work.
Yeah, no doubt about it, especially, you know, you kind of get towards that middle of the year where there's not as many holidays. How about my birthday? Let's make July 13th a holiday just because there's no true no, that's a bad statement. No, we're gonna redact that.
Okay.
So, not my birthday. I don't know. I'm not creative enough, Brooks. So thank you for your question. And then Sam, my question for you, DockHounds related, is how does Lake Country respond on this upcoming series against the Sioux Falls Canaries?
Well, that's a fantastic question, Dom, and I think the answer to that is continue to do what got you here, and that's rely on your starting pitching. They got some good starting pitching for the most part, even in this series. You take Jorge Guzman, he showed some signs, but outside of that, especially today, Connor Fisk was good. Randall Delgado has been really good. He didn't pitch in this series. Mike Schwarn, kind of the same thing. So you have plenty of things that you can grow off of and use, even from this series sweep, that you can use to your advantage going forward. Also, the fact that Sioux Falls and Lake Country very familiar with each other, as I've mentioned multiple times tonight, could bode well for Lake Country as well. So just continue to play your game. You're going to get swept every once in a while. It happens.
The rotation aligns as Mike Schwarn, Randall Delgado, and Juan Hillman for the series against the Canaries, while the DockHounds look to get back on track after falling to 30-33 with the 6-4 defeat against the Chicago Dogs tonight. Well, that's going to do it for us here on the DockHounds Broadcast Network. We hope you enjoyed the first ever DockHounds all-audio broadcast. Maybe we'll do a couple more of these throughout the rest of the season. Tonight, it was all Sam Brief on AABaseball.tv, as well as the Australian Baseball League Game of the Week here in the American Association. If you enjoyed this broadcast, catch us on AABaseball.tv for what we hope is every remaining DockHounds game. Maybe we had some new listeners tonight because there is a subscription. It's $15.99 a month, and if you tune in every single DockHounds game, certainly worth the price of admission there. Listen to myself, Dominic Stern, for all of the games, Sam Reeves for all of the home games as well, sprinkling in a couple of road games, including this one. Sam, it was great to have you on the mic for the last two games. Unfortunately, the DockHounds couldn't give us a win in either two of them. Lake Country falls to 30-33 and into fifth place in the American Association East standings, but we'll be back tomorrow night in Sioux Falls, South Dakota with a 6:35 first pitch on AABaseball.tv. Dominic Stern, myself, all have the action for you there with about a 6:30 pregame show. I'll correct myself. So thank you all for tuning in to the DockHounds Broadcast Network on the Lake Country DockHounds YouTube page. Once again, subscribe to our YouTube page. There will be more content rolled out right here on YouTube throughout the rest of this season, and we hope to catch you on a DockHounds broadcast going forward. On behalf of Sam Reeves and the rest of the DockHounds crew, I'm Dominic Stern, signing off.